Hey family, we are live, broadcasting live. This is the Conversation Room 101. Make sure it's only adults in the house. I need your mind to be open, prepared, and relaxed. Welcome to our home. Take your shoes off. We got some rules we need to go over. Be kind. No cursing in the chat. If you want to curse, call in. And no shouting out other channels. That's a no-no. We got one other rule. There is no judging our guests. It will not be permitted. Zero tolerance. And if so, you want to do that, guess what? We got security. And we will escort you out. Because over here, hashtag we don't care. We're going to be one big family. We're going to laugh together sometimes. We're going to cry. But we definitely going to pray. I thank the Lord above for everything. I lift him up and give him the glory. But you guys, right now, we're going to get our popcorn. And then we're going to see what's going on. And let me just park my car. And I'll be in there in a minute. I'll see you real soon.
The Copyright Disclaimer Act. The Copyright Disclaimer Act under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news, reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is used permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Like, share, subscribe.
Do you want to know? Well, I've been thinking about you, and I think I have to listen, because the sun is up, it's a beautiful day. My beginning will be as bright as the sun. Come, won't you come along? And it feels so bright, it's like luck is raining on me. Go and follow your heart, doesn't matter how far. There is so much love to give. Something's telling me this time. Baby, baby, now
see this?
I
You cannot go.
Baby, baby, gotta go. There is so much love to give. Something's telling me it's right.
Neighbors and the
When you
community
came to me,
compelled to
who are
scour
you?
the area.
It's you, yeah, boy.
Where does the fault lie on you?
Hey family, how's everybody doing? What's going on? What's going on? You guys, we are going to, you know what? I wanted to share some with you, but it won't let me have it. I think I'm just gonna have to try to figure out how to go around it. But anyway, we're talking about, we're not gonna stay on here long. Jake, they go to court. I think it's tomorrow. If anybody know if it's tomorrow, because I thought it was going to be the 2nd, but I think they go to court tomorrow. Listening while driving, I will chat as I can. Okay, Karen. Tina Powers, what's going on? I see you in the building. Nancy C6 Banks is in here. Freddie Johnson is in the house. Nancy C6, Freddie, y'all come on in. You guys, I was checking something out, but what it does is it lets you read a little bit, and then it'll blank out, and I'm like, what the heck? Then they say they charge you $2. I'm like, oh no. She said, yes, court's tomorrow. Okay, I thought it was. So, you guys, we are, man, I am so happy this month done started. I am. I don't work tonight, but, and you guys trust and believe. I did not, Diesel went to the doctor yesterday, $200 later. He's shaking his head. He wasn't shaking his head no more after me and Papa been doing what we've been doing. We've been putting some some monostat 7, which is yeast stuff for women, and some hydrocortisone, which is stuff to help healing, and washing it out with vinegar, half vinegar and half water. And he seemed like he was doing better, but he went to the doctor and they cleaned his ears out really good, and they was like, oh no, put this in there, leave it alone, come back in 3 weeks, don't touch his ears. Okay, well, we don't even know, but whatever. Anyway, I was reading on here the things that they got new. Hello, Lisa Calhoun. I see you in the building. I see you in there, girl. How you doing? Okay. So um they've been posting all the same stuff all over, but the Los Angeles Times has something about the guru, meaning, the guy that his name is Ahmed. His YouTube channel is on the Tira. Um he he's he's faced on the news, but it won't let me see what they're doing or talking about or whatever. I don't know why, but I'm not fin to just, keep paying all these people just for them to tell me something I already know. So I don't think they know any more than what we know. But it says here, this is the LA Times too, but it lets you see this part. It says the same day Rebecca and Jake spoke to Los Angeles ABC station news about Emmanuel's disappearance. Rebecca Hero described her son as a happy boy and begged whoever had her son to give him back to them. Please don't hurt my son. Whoever took our son, please bring him back. The more it's everywhere. They made this baby news, missing baby news. I mean, it's weird how some kids come up missing. You barely hear about them. I'm serious. But then there's some kids, and I don't know what the difference is. But Jake and Rebecca, did Jake make up this whole missing Emmanuel thing, you guys? And he made Rebecca, hey, and something tells me that, he had to, I don't know, it's just allegedly, we don't know, everybody's innocent until proven guilty. But, I just have to say, if I was a police officer, I just couldn't believe what they're saying. Not with his record. And then Rebecca got 2 black eyes, and then they got more information that Rebecca didn't get knocked out. I trust and believe. I said this, and I may not be the only one that say this, but I guarantee you they got cameras and they know Rebecca did not get hit. So that is a bull ass story. We know that. And if that's a bull ass story, then yeah, both of them need to be locked up, because Rebecca, I know they got a video and you was not hit and knocked. So you sitting there doubling down talking about, I did get hit in the head and woke up and seen white, I seen white or whatever. You said the wrong thing. Evidently, you ain't never been knocked out before. Now, I know other people, I don't know what you see. I know, and I can only tell you, people love to come and say, SP, she could have seen white. She could have. Yeah, she could have if she was even knocked out. I mean, she been knocked out before, so maybe she's reflecting on, if somebody gave me 2 black eyes, maybe she didn't tell the story right or something. I don't know why It was because uh she said, all she seen was white. I guess it's a possibility getting knocked out and seeing nothing but white, you know. But her story is a lie. You guys, her story is a lie. Good afternoon. Hey, Lisa Taylor, how you doing? Hey, story, where did her black eye come from? Not hit on her head. Well, you actually can get hit in the back of the head and cause a black eye or two. You guys do know that. Yeah, you can get hit from the back of the head, and it can happen that you can have. That's the weird part. It actually can happen, but it wouldn't be healing eye. It wouldn't be that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we seen her within hours, and it wouldn't be like that. You know what I mean? She say, liar, liar, pants on fire. I know, you know, fire. Exactly. I know, you guys, but yeah, they go to court tomorrow, and I just would like to see them try to lie their way out of stuff. Um, they're just going, see, basically everybody's going over the timeline. And to be honest with you, it's not really a timeline. It's just saying what they said and what has happened. Oh, okay. 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 She said, I'm not sure. Okay. Okay. She said, I'm not sure if he told you, but I'll pick up Junior. Okay, go right ahead. You know. So anyway, I guess I don't have to pick up Junior. I was watching the show, The Mendez Brothers. You guys do know that the Mendez Brothers are trying to get out of jail. And the actual thing about all of that is, now I'm not, I didn't read up on it. I didn't follow that case, but it is surprising watching the movie because they are actually trying to get out of jail. And I'm gonna tell you guys something. Uh, Freddie says, you educated me. You are the nurse. Yes, yes, I'm a nurse, but you know, uh, we see stuff like that happening, and it doesn't it don't make sense. We see stuff that doesn't make sense all the time, and we just we can't even have an ideal. I mean, like, we talk amongst each other, and we be like, man, did you see this, did you see that? People, I tell you what, I kid you not, I was in school, and we was at the it was the veterans hospital, the VA, and they had it. That was, like, if you've ever been in school and had some really bad experiences of school where you run out the classroom, or you got beat up or something, or you got a black eye or whatever. They teased you, took your lunch pail, threw it all across the bus or whatever, or people didn't like you because you farted all the time, or I don't know. But at this place, the VA, I walked out of that classroom because I was not familiar with computers and stuff. This is when computers just got started, you guys. Don't sit there and say, oh, really, SB? No, this is when, nobody really even had a computer, but we had to do something on the computer, and they was like, I didn't know how to turn it on. I didn't know where the on button was at. I didn't know nothing. But And it was weird because the teacher was telling us to push the entry. And I'm looking all over the keyboard, didn't know it was called a keyboard. And I'm like, push the entry. Well, it didn't say enter on there. It would just have, this little arrow or something. I can't remember what it was. But she said it again, and she was like, everybody there? And I'm like, no. And she was like, you don't know where it is. Da-da-da-da-da-da. She got to yelling at me. And I was like, hey, I just looked at her. She was yelling at me like I done stole something. And I just was done. I'm serious. I got up and walked right out the class. And I went outside just like I did when I was a kid. You're not finna sit there and yell at me and I can't yell back at you. You know what I mean? I mean, golly. In front of everybody? Sure. So you know what? I walked out and I just knew. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna flunk this class because shoot, I don't even know what's going on, because I didn't know where this little button was she wanted us to push. And so I walked on out the class and I got in my car and I just left. I was like, well, we can forget that. But the very next day, I went to school and, because, once you do your practicum, I can't remember what it was called. I can't remember what it was called. But anyway, you go back to the school and the teacher talks to you about, how did the class, what did you learn and da-da-da-da-da and all this other stuff. Well, the kids in the classroom done already told the teacher what done happened or whatever. I really didn't care. But I went to the classroom and the teacher was like, I'm so sorry you had to endure that and blah, blah this and blah, blah that. And I talked to that teacher and that will never happen again and this, that, and the other. And I just was like, man, this is crazy, Got me in there and got people hollering like an idiot or whatever. And she acted like I was in the army or something. I was like, thank God. But anyway, I had to go back the next week, face the same person, and, at least I was showed where this key was at and how to get to it and this, that, and the other, And you'd be surprised. Let me tell you guys something. You'd be surprised. There's people that is amongst you, your peers, when you're trying to do something or whatever. And just because you do not know something, or how to navigate something or whatever, there's people that have a soft heart. That's like, my God, why are you yelling at her? Because she don't know. She's not computer literate. She don't know. She don't have one. And you sitting there yelling at her is not going to help her figure out where this button is. And so, it surprised me how, my classmates were like, feeling sad for me that I even went through this. You know what I mean? But I mean, it just doesn't make a good lasting impression. It just so happened when I went back to that same VA, I met one of their patients. It was a guy. He was a very nice looking chocolate man, and I was single. And he wanted to have relations But nevertheless, you guys, that's a no. You can't have relations with the patient. But anyway, he kept, you know, I don't know if he had seen the situation. I heard about some young lady getting yelled and getting ran out of the VA, but that was me. I put my hand up. It was me. I was like, shoot. It wasn't that it wasn't um, like I was like a weenie, like, ooh. It was, to be honest with you, I was so mad that I really wanted to just cuss her out. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something. You know, and it was true that I just did not know where this enter button or on button or whatever button she wanted me to pick or whatever. I just did not know what it was, where it was. And that's just, people will pick something that you know or you don't know, and they will just throw it in your face. Zena said, oh, that took me back to my military days when that sergeant be yelling like a bat out of Hades. Girl, I just didn't even know what I signed up for. I was like, man, this is crazy that you yelling at me, like, I mean, in front of everybody, and there's nothing you can say or do. And only thing I felt like I could do at that time is just leave. Because if I would say anything, it would make me look like a bad person. I can cuss her out, call her name, tell her what, do, or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's going to make you look bad. It's going to make you look bad. And so, anywho's, that day, everybody remembered I'm the girl that ran out of the class because I didn't know, I wasn't computer smart. I just wasn't. They were helping each other. The person that was sitting beside me, she didn't know where it was at either. So she just sat there and didn't say nothing. I'm like, no, tell me. I mean, like, did you find this? And I'm like, no, and we was trying to make an account. And she just made it seem like everybody should know this and all that other stuff. Well, you got to remember, I didn't know this stuff. We didn't have computers and stuff. And I worked at Boeing, and then I was a computer programmer there, but it wasn't on like this. It was like programming something, and I had to be taught how to do that. And that's all I knew how to do. It didn't have nothing to do with it's a difference, you guys. But anyway, yeah. But when someone is yelling at you, it's hard to explain to them what they want to hear. I learned a long time ago, I'm just not going to allow people to talk to me any kind of way or whatever. And so back to what we were talking about, but it also goes to, that's about in my life. That's what makes me who I am. Like, I'm going to just tell you guys something. You guys know I'm not finna go back and forth with you about anything. I'm not gonna sit there and be hollering and yelling and screaming about what is right, what is wrong, or whatever. I will ask the question, you will answer the question or not answer the question. It's on you. Whether you believe it or not believe it, it still be where we're gonna be adults about the whole situation. Anytime that you find me hollering and screaming about a situation, I'm pretty much done with it. You know, my mother, I seen her have a heart attack. She was hollering at one of her friends. My brother, he has seizures. He's passed away now, but he has seizures. And they made him a name up into the community. They called him Crazy David, Crazy Dave, which he's not crazy. He was disabled. He was mentally disabled, period, point blank. The word they called it back in the day was retarded, you know, and now they found out that that's a very harsh word. So they don't even let you use that word no more. But he was known as being retarded. If you say the word retarded now, people will shun you and they be like, that's like calling somebody stupid and crazy, ignorant, or whatever. It's a very harsh word. So we as kids couldn't even say that word. We would have to say the R word. There's a lot of R words I cannot even say because I didn't know what the R word was, but my mother told us you better not ever say it. And she taught us to protect him. Now, was it true that he had a learning disability where he couldn't learn over the age 7 or 8? Yeah. Yeah, it is true. But I tell you what, you don't sit there and argue with him about it. You know what I'm saying? You don't argue about it. So if you guys ever see me in a situation with you or someone else, and if we cannot communicate where there's like you say your piece, but now let's go. Okay. Well, I'm done because I know that that's what you think. This lady that was right next door to the Big Five, the store is called Batty. She says that the very next day, Jake showed up at her store and he was begging her. He was begging her to find his baby. Now, what was she supposed to do? If he's sitting there begging, here's the thing. They say that this child is missing. Okay? And she said that they had flyers of a missing child. And his baby came up missing. I was wondering, why was they showing up at the store the next day? I mean, wouldn't you, if your child is missing, wouldn't you be out there looking for him, looking in the bushes, looking around the store? Hold on. Hey, what's up?
Hey, don't go grab Junior.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Yeah, she texted me.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Alrighty.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Well, it's 3:40. At least they let me know. A little bit late, but at least they let me know. That's the one that likes the $200 in his pocket every first of the month. That's the one that likes the $200. And what are you saying, Tina? To see if they had cameras in the store. Yeah.
Month-old baby.
But still, there's no sign of...
They keep coming up on my feed, and you know, yeah, they keep right now. Court TV just popped up on my thing. I would be everywhere possible looking for my child. Yes, I would too.
And that eventually, because of that abuse, he succumbed to those injuries.
Now, Jay Caro reportedly joined investigators in the search for baby Emmanuel, but still no sign of him.
So now you see, Court TV just said he was with them,
but insisted that he's innocent and has been completely cooperative. When asked what he would say to his baby Emmanuel, he responded, "I love you, buddy." So let's talk about this case. Let's bring back in retired NYPD Detective Rob O'Donnell, also formerly with the NYPD.
Okay, I don't need to hear their speculation, because we also have the same speculation. Jake speaks from behind bars and insists that he's innocent and has been completely cooperative. That's all. I mean, I'm just being honest, you guys. That's all they can actually ever say. You know? There's another case that's in Florida, and the mother is facing the death penalty, and she stumped this little chocolate little girl, stumped her to death. Things are just happening. 10-year-old Rebecca allegedly tortured and abused. That's a 10-year-old little girl. A Court TV is showing all of these. 9 kids removed from that Florida home after 4 adults was. They're gonna put that on there. I don't know why that's coming up. I need to charge up my phone. That's what I need to do. Let me charge it up. Anyway, this is just like Cody's case. This baby is in the landfill. Yeah, you know he is. Your brother that gets a check every first of the month, he always like $200 in his pocket. Yeah, that's the one. He always like to have that. No matter if the bills are paid or not, you know, he has to have that money. You know. But you know, like I said, Zena says, I saw a video on some news channel in California, and it showed Rebecca getting out of the car with no baby. That she was at her house, though. She was at her house, out of a red car. They said they knew then it was a BS story. Oh, she was at her house, Zena, when you seen that. Okay, so Rebecca and Jake evidently is still, they you know, once you don't believe, that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, you can't say anything to a person, even if they come and talk, you guys. Let me tell you something. Even if they come and talk, you're still going to feel like, y'all did something to the baby. What did you do to the baby? Y'all, it's just a lie, da-da-da-da-da. I'm surprised that the police comes on and say that this baby been gone, and they've got enough proof to tell, and they know that this baby had a long history of abuse. They say that they got evidence of long history abuse, and they say medical records. I just don't believe that they got proof. I just don't believe it, you guys. Now, here's the thing. even though that they may not have proof. And I'm just telling y'all, because, you know, there was a call that came in prior to Emmanuel coming up missing. They had went to that house, and I can't remember where the house was located, but they went to a house, and I guess Jake is the one that called in and said that a baby has been abused, you know. And was they talking about baby Emmanuel at that particular time? I just don't even know. So, you know, let's talk a little bit. We're not going to stay on here long. Was she in a white SUV? When I seen her get out of a car, she was in a red car. And I'm thinking that, and Jake was driving. That's when I seen her. In 1996, this lady I knew was missing. They found her skull 2 months ago in the woods. I'm just saying. In 1996, they just found her skull in the woods. Oh, okay. Zena said, yes, we are Cody's voice. When you open up the phone lines, I'm going to come up. We got a lot to talk about. Is this stuff right here just shows us the evil has taken over the world, or God's on his way? When you open the phone lines, yeah, God's on his way back to know that he's not alive. That video came from a clothing store that was beside the Big Five. Yes, well, on the other side of the bushes. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. I'm going to, I don't know. I'm going to put it in the thing. You can come up on the panel, Shauna, if you need to. Well, the thing about that is, Shauna, I'm going to say, when she comes up here, we'll talk. We'll talk. You know, I like talking to Shauna. I do. You know. But the thing about it is, you know, sometimes people want an answer. Sometimes people want an answer, you guys. And sometimes, here's the thing. We just don't have those answers. And I know that people want an answer, but sometimes there's just not an answer. Because even if you did get the answer or have the answer, you would have more questions, or you would feel like the answer that you received is not something that, you know, you fully understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to understand. So people always ask questions to people which is considered or call themselves, or could be or not, I don't know, Christians. They say, if you're so in love with God, then why did he let this happen? So you just answer me that. Well, the thing is, first of all, we don't know if it's a godly thing, or we don't know if it's an evil thing. That's number one. That's the first thing. And the second thing that we know, since we have lived this life for a long time. Good evening, Shauna.
Good evening. So listen, I can't all that typing I be doing. Listen, y'all know I'm slow, okay? But I need to tell you because I watch this stuff all day, and I don't hardly leave my house. You know what I mean? But what they're saying, what the DA is saying is that with the substantial amount of blood that they found and tested, it is that baby's blood, and they have medical records proving he was born healthy. Like his eyes weren't like that, his forehead, but he didn't look like he had Down syndrome or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so and because of his prior, and he's still, you know what I mean, and he was violated on a gun charge, everything. But now looking back, like they were grifting and everything. Everything they did was around doing wrong and evil. But that's what I'm saying. If this world is not taken over by evil, God's on his way back again. Because this is not going to work for long. Everybody's going to be dead. Because everybody's going to be mad. All the good people are going to be mad about babies, them killing babies, but they're going to outnumber us. You know what I mean? It's weird. It's scary. It's like a bad movie, and I can't wake up.
And you're right. You're right about some of what you're saying. First of all, I'm glad that you came on, and I'm glad that you're doing well this evening. But
I'm questioning my faith, but I'm trying. That's why I need somebody to help me because I don't want to lose faith and sight on what I need. But I need to understand because this is, whoa, it makes my
well,
brain hurt.
well, do you know that he said that he has to come back even earlier than expected because the world is going to overcome with this bad actions of people.
Well, I didn't know it said like that. I knew he was going to come back one day, but and it was going to be worse. But I didn't realize it was going. I now know. I see what you're talking about. I didn't know that, but I see it now clearly.
Yeah, because there's a time where evil's supposed to be walking the earth, and some people think that he's already walking the earth and he's already
Exactly.
being,
You
you
ever
know,
watch Men in Black? You watch Men in Black?
yes,
Remember the guy that had the Edgar guy that was a bug, the big bug guy?
yeah.
They said he's an alien walking around in a fresh Edgar suit, talking about skin. No, that freaks me out. Now everybody I look at, I'm like,
Well, yeah, well, a lot of TV shows are actually somewhat close to things that are true.
I
A lot
think
of
that's
people,
why they're making all these weird like Netflix documentaries and stuff that we know ain't even true about kids that ain't even found yet. So I know you ain't found his head. You know what I mean? But I think they're trying to normalize and make us used to it. You know what I mean? But I don't want no part of being used to stuff like that. Like I'd rather just go. I don't want to be here with people like that. I don't.
but we already look at it as a normal thing
I
because
don't.
see, we can identify that when they first came out with the story saying that, hey, a baby been taken or whatever. First thing we're like, oh my God, this woman, she needs to have her baby.
Right.
That's
If
all
that
we.
was my baby, I'd be sleeping in the woods. What you mean?
Yeah, but
I
see,
got two kids out there. I'm gonna be out there too.
yeah, they noticed that they not out looking for the baby. They over there on the camera.
Yeah, it's like you thought it was weird that Naziah, 13-year-old, but two babies, Jack and Lily. That's what I'm saying. It's happening more and more, and it goes all the way back predates into the Bible. Like the people were sleeping with his kid because he was too drunk. Remember, just incest, all kind of evil stuff happened back then. It's just getting 10 times worse, and I see what you're saying now, and that scares the death out of me. But I'm glad at least I can see it and acknowledge it. And that I
Yeah,
have people like you to talk to bring me back down to earth and let me know what's really going on.
yeah. It's gonna get really bad. You ain't seen nothing yet.
I don't want to. Y'all don't understand when I tell you I'm scared. I'm scared of what I don't know, the unknown. Because I can only imagine what these kids feel like. Like can you imagine what it would feel like if like somebody told you to run in the woods? I'm fixing to hunt you with a gun. Me and a bunch of people. Could you imagine the fear and the adrenaline in that child? And I just like, oh my God, the things these children must be thinking and going through. I'm sure they don't believe in God when they die or go missing, whatever. You know what I mean? Because they're like, what the heck?
Yeah, but you said something that I was wondering the why the police was thinking that he had
They're
this
in on it.
abuse, and you said he was
Stockholm
born
syndrome.
he was born perfect.
Yes, his eyes, he was beautiful. It's like 2 months old pictures, the pictures from the hospital. Those pictures were perfect. But after that, there was very few pictures. And that one last picture they showed of him, where it looked like he was like laying still, he looked gray, and they was trying to say he red marks. Honey, that was a post-mortem picture. They took that picture after he was dead, I promise you. Even Strategic Eyes said it on YouTube, and he's a detective. But you're a nurse. I mean, I'm telling you right now, the way that baby was looking, he wasn't looking at nothing. He was gone. They just
I
didn't close his eyes yet. They dressed him and used it for proof of life, but it was actually post-mortem, and that's crazy. I'll
well,
guarantee it.
I don't know.
But I think that listen, she knows now. She started seeing that evil after she got with him. Or maybe she knew before, whatever. But it was happening to her. We know that because look at all the black eyes. She's had them black eyes for months. So apparently he keeps doing it. But my
Yeah,
thing is that's what Stockholm Syndrome is. Even people are like, oh, she should be telling on him now because she's in jail. Listen, he's done told her, listen, I got out of it before. I'll get out of it again. I'll get to you in a jail. I'll kill you. So until they got him locked up for good and her protected, she's probably not ever going to talk if she's got like Stockholm Syndrome. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, she belongs in prison for life. Okay. But if we go to trial for murder, okay, don't we have to be held? You have to, if we're competent or not, right? To be in trial, right? So my thing is you can sit here and say what you want, but if her brain's not right, how can you judge her past that?
but her brain is right. She decided
He
before
told her to do it, or I'll kill you.
what? Okay, so everybody's feeling like she's an abusive woman, and she is. But there's a time that you have to be accountable for your actions. You chose this man. You know what? I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you something that I did not know until after we did the live. We did a live. You were on that live.
Yes,
Uh,
ma'am.
I think it was just last week. It was Monday. Let me see there. It was Monday or Friday. Friday, Monday. I think it was Monday.
Right?
But
Yeah, I think so.
anyway,
Yeah, yeah. Monday, yes.
and
Memorial Day, yes. Memorial Day.
and I told you guys that he was making a message for Rebecca when he was saying, "God be with us," which we
Like a
know that's
like a
that's
subliminal
Emmanuel.
message.
That's what Emmanuel will mean. And I was
Oh
saying
yeah, I forgot all about that.
Diablo. The only word I could remember in Spanish is Diablo, right? And so we
Yes.
know that means demon devil,
Dev,
right?
yeah, evil devil.
Do you know his ex did a interview and said that Jake is the devil? He said
And
he
said it just like that. Called it out.
yeah, she
Oh
said
my god.
Jake is the devil. He was a
Oh my
devil from
god.
day one. That's what she said.
Oh my god.
And I said to myself, I said, you know, he
Is that?
just
Hmm.
he he was jealous of his kids.
I think he made them so he had somebody to pick on because he's not gonna pick on a man. He's a coward. But he needed somebody to hurt and get pleasure from. So he's
That's how
farming babies.
that's how he
Him and
hurts.
Jarvis butts both. Him and Jarvis butts both. Farming children for their own nastiness.
And he's got an anger problem. And that woman, and I feel sorry for her. I do, but I don't because
I
that's
don't.
what she chose. She
I don't
chose
think
him
she. I don't think she
because
might need
right
to be in
now
prison. But I think she needs to be in a mental hospital somewhere forever, like a state hospital.
she could come out and
She
say what
might come out of it.
happened.
You know what I mean? She might could come out of it. Yeah, it depends on how her mental health declines or does better. But they would need to watch her. I wouldn't say let her out at all. No, hell no. She was complicit in it. No, I won't mean to cuss, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Now,
No,
what if she is the one that actually hurt Emmanuel?
then he would be saying that from the beginning because he don't want no more charges, and he'd be like, I'm not taking that. I already got one charge.
Well,
You know what I mean?
it seems like maybe she was hurting Emmanuel, and because remember he did make the call for you know a good wells check on a baby. You
I
know,
want to know something though. I think it's weird. You know, you heard about all the they're always like all the lawsuits and his jobs and stuff. The 3 different workman comp things. It's weird. They're always grifting something. You know what I mean? And I don't. It's just like it's one. It makes me wonder. And I don't want this to sound bad. And I mean this from all my heart. I love every child in this world, and they all deserve the best life they can have. But let's all be honest and blunt. Emmanuel's sister, Promise.
hmm
She can't taste. She can't do anything.
right.
And what quality of life is that? So why would you keep a baby alive other than just to get the income? Because I don't understand. I'm not being mean, but I'm trying to think what's best for that baby. And his sister's now his brother's gonna watch that, and he's gonna hold so much anger, and he probably might have like because he survived and wasn't as bad off. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just I don't know. That's weird to me. The whole family's weird.
Right.
Don't none of it makes sense. His brother died there a month ago, and it's suspicious. They don't know if it was suicide or overdose. And I don't know. It's weird.
Well,
For all
I'm
this just to go.
wondering. I'm wondering if they just really wanted a check for these kids.
Mm.
You know,
So yeah, somebody got to get one, so it got to be in the family. That's crazy. Oh
because
my god.
you
Y'all
know,
remember Kanika Jenkins' case?
yeah,
Oh my god, that's what hurt my head. I'm telling you, one thing to get a headache, right? But when you hurt my brain, baby, oh Lord, you done made me work overtime.
yeah. Well,
Ooh. I analyze stuff, and I know I lose sleep over stuff like that because I'm like, oh my god, what if my neighbor's like that? I just got a new neighbor, you know.
so do you think which one is at fault? Both of them or just one?
At
Who
this
who,
point and
who
this
do you
long, they're
blame?
both at fault. Who do I what?
Who do you blame?
Oh, I thought you said who do you like? I don't like neither one of them. I blame both of them at this point because it's so far gone, and I know that baby was born healthy, and I know y'all both watched it happen and placing in it, and I honestly feel like this. I think whatever was done to Emmanuel should be done to Jake, but I think right before he passes, they should bring him back and then do it again. Now, her, I think they should go by her mind frame, watch her over the years, and do what they will with her. Because to be honest with you, just because you got mental problems from it, don't mean that they happened overnight. That took time too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So either way, at the end of the day, you're both responsible. You were both there, and you both know what happened to that baby. And I don't believe nothing else. You can't tell
Okay.
me nothing else. And who's gonna throw their baby in the garbage?
Well, you know,
Well, I mean, in your house. Come on now.
right.
It's
Well,
crazy.
you know, the weird thing about it is they had blood all in that house. Why they didn't clean up that blood? They
In the
knew
hall. Listen,
that
listen.
eventually, I don't know where she went, you guys, but eventually they was gonna come to the house and find the blood. Um, it really does not make sense that okay, you come to the big five and you say, oh, somebody hit me in the head and they took the baby and I woke up, all I seen was white. Someone say, hola. It doesn't even make sense. You would at least clean up the blood. That does not even make sense.
Yeah, I don't. It's just none of it. I don't even know which way to think. I feel like a flip flop, and I ain't never flip flopped so much in my life. But it's like Mosiah's case. There's so much, and that you can't really know. Unless they was to tell us the truth, and then how would you know that's the truth after all the lies?
And Shauna, here's the thing, they're going to stick to their story. They're
Because
sticking
they know
to,
that sounds good right now. Yeah.
and I think Jake is trying to make a deal. I think Jake is trying to make a deal like, you
Oh,
know,
he's gonna try to save his own skin because I think he really thinks that they might even try to get that death penalty back for him. Because California they have it, but it's not, and they don't use it right now. It's not. You know what I mean?
right, right.
That's not to say that they couldn't use special circumstances and do that.
California, there's plenty of places to hide that baby.
Oh God, especially when you've had all that time to do it.
And you
You
know,
know what I
the
mean?
community down there says that baby is gone. They'll
Oh
never
my
find the baby.
God. Oh my God, it was so hot. One of the YouTubers that was down there, he's had his car thing. It's like 184. It said it felt like. I was like, holy crap! His phone. Every time he got out of his car, within 5 minutes, his phone would overheat. Dang. But
Okay. We got Don in the building. Don is in the building. He's saying they got two different stories now. I don't know
oh
what the
God,
second story is.
I don't know. Was they turning on him yet?
Um, I don't know. I haven't heard of the second story. We
Yeah,
still only got the first story.
yeah. I ain't heard the second one yet. No, no. But I
All
gotta get
right.
off here and cook dinner. But I appreciate it. I love y'all, and I appreciate all the prayers and stuff.
We love you too, Shauna.
Yeah.
Thanks. Don, if you would like to come show up, I'm putting the link in the chat. Come up and tell us what you are trying to tell us. We know you can't type it all in. You don't have to show your face if you don't want to. There's always a button there that, if you just feel like just sharing with us, please share with us what the second story is. And if Don will tell us what this second story, they got two stories now. I wonder what that second story is. Guys, it just it it bothers me that they come up with this elaborate stage event with blood still in the house. And Shauna just told us that the baby was born normal. And then we see the baby and his eyes is all crossed and he got this big old hematoma. We call it a hematoma is a big blunt on top of his head. Hey Don, what's going on?
Salute, salute. That's P to you in your chat. How's everybody doing today?
Doing pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, I was hearing you say that. Well, I responded to you saying they're sticking to the same story. And salute to your mods as well. Um, you know, the thing came out the other day that Jake was. He said that he rolled over on the baby and threw the baby in the trash.
Yes, I did hear that. He told the informant that.
Correct. Correct. So that story, and Rebecca is sticking to the story that the Ola bandit took the baby. So those are the two different stories.
But you do know that there was a reporter that was in the thick of stuff when the attorney general was talking, or Mike, or whoever he may be, and they asked him that question: did they have an informant, also known as the Pickens operation, in the cell with Jake, and he had confessed it, and they said that was not true.
And the thing there is because, and I think a lot of this comes down to the verbiage. Confession versus making a statement.
Yeah,
And I think we talked about that before that they can't really quantify that as being a confession, but he
right,
made a statement. So as everyone was asking during that um the interview after the first court hearing, they kept saying confession, confession, confession. So therefore the DA can stand there with a straight face and say he made no confession. Okay, did he, and this is just an example, okay, did he make a statement?
right.
So now so that part could be very well a play on words. Um, and then even if they did do the Perkins operation, they would have to have a sworn statement of a confidential informant.
Right. Because once he got an attorney, they can't question him no more.
Right. And as we know, his attorney had already dropped him like a hot potato after, prior to all of that.
Right,
The attorney,
right,
which was really, the attorney was only for the gun case, that he may have put a retainer down for, that he had appeared with him for. The attorney may not have received any type of retainer for this particular situation.
right. But
So
they,
sorry, one second. As they had said, as the retainer had said, or I'm sorry, as the attorney had said, he was doing that pro bono, as in, I'm just a spokesperson. I have received no money for this, or so he quickly distanced himself there. That's why it was so easy for him to walk away, which really, he had already gotten in, too deep anyway.
right, right. Because they have to appoint, if he wants a state paid free attorney, he can't just pick who he wants, even though that he's got other cases. They have to give him who's next on the list. You don't get to just pick and say, well, since he's taking care of my other situation, then I want him to take care of this situation. You don't get that option. You don't get to pick and choose who you want.
And
You know.
that's where, yeah, because now they both do have two separate attorneys from the same law firm that were lawyers in the case of the Turpin's case, which I think this happened back in the I think it was maybe early 2000s. That particular case that was here in Riverside County as well. So they will be representing them going forward.
Okay. Shauna, did you
And
have something that you wanted to ask
Yes,
Don?
yes, ma'am. And that's what I'm confused about. Because see, Brian, and he's News Nation. Okay, that's like, yeah. But anyways, my thing is the Perkins thing. That's sending an undercover cop in, right? So I'm just trying to make sense of logic sense. If I had hurt a child and was known for that, the last thing I would do is start talking about that. If I wasn't even convicted of it, you know what I mean, and telling people that, because I mean that'd get you killed real quick. I don't understand. You think he would have just told somebody some stuff like that? I don't know. That's
my
weird.
take on it is that I think he's trying to run it in two different, run people around in different
Yeah, make
directions.
it muddy the
Um,
waters. Yep.
right. And Shauna, what I was gonna say to you, lady, ma'am, you need to
Yes,
take your shoes off, get out that house, take your shoes off, and walk across some grass.
I wish I could. I gotta have a kneecap replacement, but I know. I have ADHD. I'm a seizure patient, and yes, I know. I'm very aware of it.
Okay. But
But
the other thing, as far as that Perkins operation, a lot of people, I mean, that's been going on for years and years and years, and
hey,
people
yeah,
just basically just say, oh, well, this person ratted this person out, this person ratted that person, without even knowing that that procedure had a name to it.
right. That person was even taking place in there. Right. They're not a real cop, right? Because they can't work for the cops, or that would be
Well,
getting it
it could be
wrong.
a cop. It could be a cop. It could be
Well, he
another.
lawyered up. He
Um,
lawyered up. So if he lawyered up, so it could be a cop, but a CI maybe. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Well, it's kind of strange how they definitely said in front of everybody, no, no, that's not true, and you guys got it wrong.
So why were they out in the field looking for him with him? If that's what he said. Because that
And
don't
let
make
me
sense.
say,
Why they had him out in the field looking if he said he threw him in the garbage? I
Right.
don't know. It's just none of it. See what I'm saying? It don't make sense.
well, I think that goes back to what was said somewhere around between the 5th and the 10th.
Right.
Jake had disappeared for a couple of hours, and
Oh,
maybe
wow.
they were mapping out or found from the vehicle information. Where did he go on that particular day?
I just think
Because
it's very strange that that baby's been abused, and that's a fact. So he did the same thing to the other one, but I don't know. But he didn't hurt it. I don't know. It's sad.
Well,
It's sad. Parents are hurting their children. I believe it. I'm just saying it's sad.
absolutely. And the biggest thing
Breaks my
about
heart.
it is that he should have as soon as he got that gun charge, his probation officer was supposed to revoke his probation right then. However, they
Honey,
gave
he
him a
should have never
fifty
been able to
thousand
get that
dollar
gun
bail.
charge.
Right.
That gun
So the
charge should
DA
be
did not
non-existent.
speak to that.
That
So
judge need to
what
be
they
in
did,
jail with him.
they moved his court appearance from yesterday to tomorrow on that gun charge.
Oh wow.
So
Why they
they'll
keep
throw that
prolonging everything?
they'll throw that in there as well. So
Wow.
he won't, for him to even have a $1 million bail, that's going to be non-existent in itself just because of that gun charge.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they got out, somebody probably take him out. You know what I mean? I'm not being mean, but just think about it. Don't nobody want him, and they don't want him alive in there. And you think we want him out here to hurt more babies? I'm sorry.
Well, the thing about it, people always say that they'll, and it seems like, we believe that even if he made bail and got out, somebody will do something to him. That
Look what they was doing to his house when he was in it and when he wasn't. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying.
no, nobody's gonna do anything to him because nobody wants to go to jail. But they'll follow him around. That's about it. That's about
I,
it.
I don't like jail, but if I ever met up with Casey and Anthony in a store, I promise you, yeah, I'm going to jail because I'm gonna go hit her for Casey or for her, yeah, for her baby. You know what I mean? That's just my heart. She deserves that. You got away with everything. I'm gonna knock the shit out of you. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry, my bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll go.
well, I know I wouldn't. Now I would pay attention to him and watch him, but no, I wouldn't, jeopardize my life, I don't know. Some people feel that way, but I don't think he's going to even get out.
Well, right now, according to, I was actually seeing another content creator this morning reading. They were reading over the paperwork,
Uh-huh.
and he's definitely walking in there tomorrow, staring down 6 years. That's just without a doubt.
Right. What time is the court time? 8:30?
8:30.
9?
Yes,
Okay. Yeah. Are you going to be there?
I'm gonna go there. Yes,
Oh, wow.
see a lot of the other content creators. See how close. Hopefully, they'll have it in a different courtroom and in a larger courtroom. Um, just I don't know. It's been a difference. I've seen the difference between the legacy news media
Uh-huh.
and social media.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're trying to shut out social media, but we are the public. I'm not really a content creator, but we are the public.
Right.
And the room that they had it in, the courtroom that they had it in last time, only had 3 rows of seating, and everything else was for the lawyers in the police department. Or
Right.
yeah, lawyers in the police department.
So the
So
only thing they're going to do tomorrow is do the arraignment over.
do that all over again, and they'll probably go through his revocation of the for the gun charge.
Hmm. Okay. Wow.
So it would be interesting to see what his lawyers look like, what they're going to say, and even if they're going to do an after court interview, such as what they did last week.
Okay. Well, he might want to do an interview again.
And see, I don't know if you guys know about the Turpin case that was out here. That was a case that the parents kept their kids I think they had 13 kids, but they kept them locked away. They would, strap them to the bed, tie them to the bed, however, but they kept them like locked away. And one of the kids eventually got a hold of a cell phone and made the 911 phone call. And in that case, these same two lawyers, they ended up getting, I believe it was 15 years to life.
Okay. Somebody was telling me about that case, yeah. So they're out now?
No, they're still in there.
Mm, okay.
Yeah,
So
because a lot of
15 to life, they ended up with 15 because 20 life is only but 25, right?
actually you can go up to 30, but in that thing, every time you go before a parole board, chances are they'll be denied every time, just because of the horrible uh, conditions that they put the kids through. And at this point, all of the kids should be grown and they should be able to have a say so as well, to the parole board, or even be able to write a letter to the parole board.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Did any of the kids, did they end up with some permanent damage?
I don't know. I don't know about that part. No, but
Okay.
I'm sure they needed and probably still needs, some kind of, um, you know, psychological help, if not, psychiatric help.
Yeah. I don't think Jake is going to tell where the child is because he knows once they get a hold of the baby, that's it. I mean, anybody that does dirt or damage, criminal activity knows that. That's just like once you get the gun, then they can put all the pieces together. Or they can actually say, this is the time, this is how it happened, this is what happened, da 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 da. And right now, when you don't have no baby, that's what makes a no body trial hard. It's not uncalled, it can be done, but it is hard to go in front of 12 jurors of your peers and say, okay, this is what happened to the baby. This is the time when you don't even have the baby.
And he may be going on that premise, but as the DA said, they do have sufficient evidence to charge them with the murder for or malice. You don't necessarily always have to have that body.
Right? But circumstantial evidence, you're claiming both of them did what? They claiming both of them made a false report, which we know Jake didn't make the report. Rebecca did. But you're saying that, well, they both know that this is a false report, so they're both involved in it. Well, I mean, do you honestly know that Rebecca was going to go to this big five and say this, or are you assuming they did? I mean, they do have more information. There's some people that say that they went to the store prior to this report and asked about cameras and phone. I mean, the cars being broken into. We don't know if that's true or not, but I mean, it has been reported. But just for example, you're claiming both of them made a false report.
Right. Well, they both participated in that. Going there, which kind of leads to, do they have the pictures, the video of them going into the store days prior, and then
Right.
concocted the story together, To do that, that would be the malice part.
Right.
Um,
I believe they're not going to find this child. I believe they're going to go on with the trial and they will be found guilty. And they just not, I mean, it's really the beginning to the end. Like everybody's looking for more information and evidence. And I don't think they're going to find any. And that's why they said we might as well let them have no more freedom out here in the world because this is all we're going to get. We got to put some pressure on them. And they're hoping that this pressure will break one of them.
right. And like we had said before, not only, like I said, tomorrow, Jake will be looking at the 6 years before anything else. And as so, therefore, Rebecca would have, you know, she would still have that bail. But, no, Riverside County is notorious for withholding charges to as soon as you bail out, they'll add another charge and rearrest you. And that's perfectly legal to do here.
Hmm. They can charge him with more stuff. And I'm not understanding why they're not charging them with more stuff. Like, okay, you did make a false police report, but also they can charge him for lying, you know,
I'm
to
not, I'm sure that they've probably crossed them up already in their interrogation. They've probably crossed them up, and because their stories may not even be matched. But one thing I think that I'm hearing that most people are thinking that only one of them knows where the baby's body could be.
hmm,
That's one thing that I'm hearing over and over.
hmm, yeah, yeah. And Jake is probably the one. You would think Jake would be the one that got rid of the baby. So why he's standing out there, I mean, in a perfect crime of, people, especially babies, and I say especially babies because they're small, that, if you wanted to get rid of a body, the best way to do it is the trash. I mean, I mean, but you wouldn't even, to be honest with you, you wouldn't even put the baby in the trash in the same town. You would take it to another state or another town and do it there. You know what I'm saying? Just looking at all these criminals and how they do things, that is the way to do it. And knowing that if they don't have a GPS on their car or know a car that they borrowed and went out of town, they're not going to find the child. They're not going to find because you can put a child in a grave. Yeah, but that takes a lot of work. That takes a lot of work. It don't take as much as a grown person, but you still got to get the shovel and then find a decent place and where nobody goes to and the grass grows quickly and you never speak about it again. That's, but eventually one day it will be found. But if you throw it in the trash where it gets buried in a landfill somewhere where people just don't go digging up stuff, and especially in a trash that you don't live nearby, or you want to take it away from the house
And
as
that would have and that would have been the area of the Badlands or Lambs Canyon, which is, I think that's like maybe 20 minutes away from their home. That's where they had took him to that location. So, and I don't think that they just They wound up at that location for a reason.
That's not far
Whether they
enough. Yeah,
it's
they
not
they
far enough.
landed. Yeah, that's not far enough though. 20, 30 minutes away, that's not far enough. You got to think these people they had a decent car. Their car will take them at least a 2 hour drive.
I don't and I won't give them credit to be, you know, even though they thought they were smart in doing this and leading people on this goose chase, I just don't give them credit to be that smart.
Hmm. Well, hmm.
I mean, I think all of this derived from whether it was a drunkenness or whether it was a drug fueled night. Something happened and they tried to cover it up, and a lot of it was hastily. And maybe family members started asking questions, because they did know of the baby, but okay, where's the baby at? You can only say that so many times or for so how long can you keep that going on to where this is the story that they came up with.
Well, they could have easily said something to the fact Jake got a new job in Texas and we're going to Texas to stay and da 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 and pack up and went to another whole different state and just that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like what actually made them, since nobody really seen the baby no way. It seemed like nobody really went and visited this child. They've got that date August the 5th for a reason. That's the last time this child was seen alive. It's not August the 3rd. They have to have August the 5th for a reason. So you got the 5th all the way up to the 14th. They could have came up with something a little bit more elaborate than just, oh, let's show up at the big five and tell them somebody hit you in the head. You know, and
You
and
know,
I
and
understand what you're saying because they don't seem like they're that smart. Because she said she got hit from the back of the head, but you already got this big old shiner, and then the other one you try to cover up with makeup. Well, you should have covered both of them up with makeup. You could have. She could have. It's easy to cover up uh, that bruise around her eye. It's very easy. So why didn't she not do that? If somebody hit you in the back of the head, why do you have two black eyes?
right.
And then you should have rehearsed what you said instead of sitting there talking about somebody said hola. So you actually blamed it on Spanish descent. So that's making the Spanish community highly upset with her, which I'm kind of glad she didn't target. They would have said, "Oh, you seen the person?" And she said, "No, they just said hola." So that's claiming that they're Spanish descent. I mean, pretty much. It didn't have to be because there's a lot of people that speak Spanish, but if your back is turned, they're not gonna say, "Hey, hola," you know, to
Hmm.
get your attention. So she basically made it seem like she's blaming the Spanish community.
And then that's another thing. I mean, the fact that she's, as she said, leaning over in the car, preparing to change the baby's diaper, her back would be to the person, you know, how do you even know that the person comprehends Spanish? You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Yeah.
So, I think they quickly saw through that story and was able to debunk that part of this whole situation and give them the charge for making a false um, police statement, which I think they stated it was a misdemeanor.
What the
So that's
false police report is a misdemeanor?
I believe that's what I saw on the charge that someone posted.
Oh, well, I know that they say they have a video with her um, walking around the car, and that she hit herself with the door.
The video that I saw was from the Bata clothing store, which is the store that is closest to the Big Five.
Uh-huh.
And it showed, you can see about where the front door is. You can see a white SUV pull up, and then her car would have been 2 parking spaces over from that white SUV.
Right.
It might have even been 3, but her car is not in the frame of the picture. Okay, but then you see when the police pulls up, going from right to left, and you see her prior to the police pull up. You see her walk a black shadow, a black silhouette that walks, towards the front door of the Big Five store, and then back to the car again. And right about that time is when the police car pulled up, and you see him walk across the screen from left to right. But that video was from a camera inside of the store.
Right. So it doesn't really show her going around the store, walking in the store, but she walked in the store.
She walked into the Big Five store, yeah.
Hmm.
But what it did show was in between the white SUV and where she would have parked, it showed no other people walking in between there. As she said, someone walked up behind her. It doesn't show anybody else in those frames.
Okay.
So I guess that's what the significance of that video was. It may even be a wider frame than what was actually posted online.
Hmm. Hmm. You remember when you was out and about and the one lady was talking to Ahmed, I think that's his name, Ahmed, on the
Mm-hmm.
Tira, and she was claiming that she worked at some store.
She worked at the Costco.
Yeah, the Costco, and she said that the baby the baby was in the stroller at the store on the 10th.
Okay, what I took from what she said, I believe her name was Christina or something to that effect. What I took from that was she remembered her coming into the store having the black eye, and she was pushing a stroller with the baby in it. And when we went back over there to ask that question specifically, did you see the baby in the stroller? That's when she changed it up to the video cameras in the Costco has that video footage, or the Costco store has that video footage.
See, I was thinking the other day, I was thinking outside the box, and I was thinking if I was down there being an investigator,
Mm-hmm.
I would take that information and go to that Costco store and look at the video of the woman with the stroller and follow her through the store. If she interacts with what she has in the stroller, once she gets outside, how she puts her groceries up, how, did the baby ever be seen, or she picked the baby up because the baby crying? put the baby in the car, strap the baby down, or did she just, you know,
Was she just pushing the stroller around?
yeah, pushing the
Yeah,
stroller around, throw it in the car, put the groceries up, and get in the car? You know what I'm
I
saying?
I absolutely agree with you 100%.
Because I was already had my antennas up when she was like, "Oh, I came down here to talk to you," and I'm like, "Well, why would you talk to him when you've got a whole two police force there? You got San Bernardino and you got Riverside. They say these what
Well,
9,000 people looking for this child, and you went to sort out this man, which I get. They trust him because he's Spanish. I get that. And I know that people do that, but it don't make sense. That is some very important information.
and what I would say to that, SP, is, here in Riverside County, as well as a lot of parts of California, a lot of people just don't and will avoid interaction with the police.
I
The credibility, is just not there. I mean, a situation where, you interact with the police here in a lot of situations, and they trying to put the handcuffs on you for some reason. That's
right.
just how, you know, backwards and crazy a lot of the stuff around here is.
Well, they be wanting to know what's your name, where you live at, and then coming to your house, and then you're known as a snitch and this that. But this is a whole baby missing, a whole baby, and and I'm just thinking like myself. If I seen something, it I'm not gonna think about the adults. If I seen something like a baby's missing and I seen you with this baby, I would definitely say, "Hey, no, you guys got that wrong because this baby was in my store and I seen this baby. I know this baby was alive on the 10th."
And that's why I go back to what I was saying earlier. What I heard from her, and what she did not say, she never pointed the finger to the baby. She pointed the finger to, go check out the cameras in the Costco. If you
Yeah,
want answers, go see the cameras in the Costco. That was as much involvement that she wanted to have with the situation.
yeah,
That was just my take on it.
yeah. But she was so everybody's so keyed in on that black eye. Let me see. Diesel, stop it. Um, she was so in. Oh, she had the black eye. She had this black eye. Okay. We got that. We know she had the black eye just by just common sense tells us that you did not get that black eye from getting hit in the back of the head. That's just unbelievable. But could she
Right. And
be could she be a person that's kin to Rebecca or Jake, that's wanting her to to reach out to someone and say, "Go look at this video. She has the baby with her." And they go look, and sure enough, there's Rebecca pushing a stroller with something in it.
well, I guess, on one part of that would just mean, if they went and looked at the baby, that means that the baby would have been alive. That would have been proof of life on the 10th of September, because the
August.
uh, 10th of August. Yes, I'm sorry about that. That would have been proof of life on the 10th,
Yeah.
because they filed that report. I believe it was about the 14th. So that would kind of narrow it in on being able to track down, the possibilities of where they could have disposed of the body or any of that.
Yeah,
Without that, I'm not even sure where they get the fifth from, unless that's coming from another family member.
yeah.
But they did say the fifth, so they may have some sort of proof of the fifth.
But did they even check that information out?
Oh yeah, that I don't I have no knowledge of that.
Hmm. I wonder if they did. Because I mean, I know that they want to say the fifth, but if they go to court, and I'm just saying, if they go to court and they start trial, which will be a year from now, maybe 6 months to a year, we're looking at 2026,
Hmm.
and they start trial and they say, well, this baby succumbed from his injuries and death on the fifth because we don't know, have no knowledge of the baby's existence or such and such. And then all of a sudden, here you got this woman pushing a stroller, picking this baby, or a baby, or a lookalike of baby. I don't know. It could be a doll, it could be a real baby, it could be somebody else's baby. But she's in this Costco and she got the baby, and they show that or prove that, or the video comes up on the 10th of August that she was in the store and the baby was alive. That will, they're gonna walk, because what else do you got wrong?
Right.
Because if I was a juror and you telling me that this baby was gone by the fifth, and now they done, somebody, their attorney done show this video and show the baby alive on the 10th, it wouldn't matter to me if it's the 11th, 12th, or the 13th or 14th when it happened, when it actually really did happen. Because when you showing me something, you're giving me all the evidence and proof that this baby was not alive after the fifth. That tells me you're wrong. And what else are you wrong about?
So
So I
therefore, the chances are they would have had to, follow that lead to check it out, to be able to give it credibility or not give it credibility of whether or not, that was legitimate.
right. So they need to check that out, because that girl sure enough said she was in the store and da 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 da. And let me tell you, that would be a rude awakening, because if they show any proof of that baby being alive on the 10th, they're gonna say they're gonna let them walk, because you're wrong. And what else are you wrong about? Because you're trying to tell us a timeline that this baby is deceased the fifth and nobody seen this child alive. But now you got a store camera showing her with the stroller. And what if she did pick up the baby and pet the baby, and you could see a little bit of his hair or something, or see the baby's face? I know they don't want to put more dates out there and stuff, but you have to denounce that stuff so it won't come back like a surprise, and we're all sitting there, because I'm pretty sure we all gonna be sitting there when they go to trial and that pops up.
Well, and that's the thing. They definitely don't want to have that type of surprise, But as I said before, the Riverside County judicial system, with this case, is on trial. The Social Services Department is on trial. The probation officer, the probation department is on trial. So there's a lot of things going on in this case, above water and below water.
Right.
Because like you say, even though the system failed in the first case with the older daughter, it definitely failed with the probation violation.
Mm-hmm.
Had he been gone on the probation violation, this definitely maybe Emmanuel I believe would be alive, and he would not he would have been in jail on that.
But and this is what I was telling everybody, because that's what Mike, the Attorney General, said. But Emmanuel, we can't even really look at that, because Emmanuel wouldn't even be here.
No. Let me correct that. What he referred to in that, what do they call it, in that conference,
A press conference.
press conference. What he referred to in that press conference was, had he been in jail had the DA filed the proper charges back in 2023, baby Emmanuel would have never existed. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when he got the gun charge, which was more recent, had he gone to jail for that gun charge, I do believe they were saying that the baby she had already given birth.
Well, see,
That was in 2024, I believe. I don't know, maybe it might have been September. So that's why, we're like the 9 months or versus the 7 months. How old was the baby?
yeah. Well, I think he was referring to when the judge wanted they had to make a decision, and the judge told him, I'm gonna give you a break.
That was in 2023.
That was for the little girl.
Yes.
And that's when he said that judge did a disservice. The judge did not do the proper thing. He would have been in prison. He would have been in prison. It wouldn't have been no probation. There wouldn't have been no probation. There wouldn't have been no Emmanuel. He would have been in prison.
If they would have filed the charge of harming a baby under the age of 8, causing paralysis, he most definitely, which carries a life sentence, he most definitely would have been in prison, without a doubt, with that charge. So they did give him the lesser charge of child cruelty.
And they asked for penitentiary time.
Yes, they did.
They asked for prison time.
Yes. So the question there is, why didn't the DA appeal the judge's decision or be more forceful? Because they did go on record saying they disagreed. They didn't sign off on the probation. They did not sign off on the probation.
Right. And he got probation.
However, seems like they could have done an appeal to the judge's decision.
And then he got probation, and then he found with a gun.
He was found with a gun. I think it was August, September. It was in 2024. And they were saying, so that the difference there is, was the baby born in September or was the baby born in December?
The baby was born in December.
See, and that's where, of course,
2025.
2025, okay. Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
We time traveled. You time traveled on me.
No, yeah, he's born December 2025.
We're in 25 now.
Yeah.
December?
Yeah.
SP.
I'm sorry, 24.
I got you.
So he would be his birthday, I think, is December the 24th.
And according to one of the one of the content creators that interviewed someone who was there at the birth, there in the room. That timeline doesn't match up with the birth.
The timeline doesn't match up with the birth.
That is what the people said.
So so the baby was born at the hospital.
According to her, the baby was born at home, at that house, because they were involved in some things that would have taken that baby away, as well as any other kids that were in the home.
Oh, really? Wow. So is that why she said the baby didn't have his shots?
Hmm.
Well,
I mean, we talked about that. You can have a lot of people are doing that with doulas and having in-home birth, but you follow that up, and I do believe that they're mandated to log that, no different than what is it, paralegal or notary, but there's been times when you put whatever date down there when you go and file the paperwork.
yeah, Don. I just don't. That's 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 like all in that rabbit hole. That's just too much. I just don't. And I do know people do that. That's like the child that I had adopted. She was trying to have her child in the home and go to different states. She ended up going in a labor in a trap house and got sent to the hospital. They took the baby right then. So I do know people do try to do things of that nature, but I something tells me it's not going to be that complicated, because the simple fact of it is, because they say that they have a match of the baby's blood. Well, the only way you're going to have a match of the baby's blood is the baby had to been born at the hospital, or the doctor have seen this child.
Right. And that's the only place a baby's blood should be. There
Exactly.
should have been zero blood of that baby in that home any kind of way. It's not like we're talking about a 5-year-old that fell down, scraped their knee, busted a lip or anything like that could have bled on the floor. I mean, it's almost unheard of a baby, having, especially any significant amounts of blood.
Right.
No.
Right.
And according to them, it was a significant amount of blood. Of course, they didn't tell us whose blood or what the match was.
Right.
But by them putting the things together as they did, those are the things that lead us to believe, okay, this may be the baby's blood.
Yeah.
Because there also was an incident around that same time in the laundry room pertaining to a teenager, that witnessed, some physical abuse going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. Sometime in 2026, we'll be able to get all those answers, through a trial. I just don't see, unless one of them comes forward and just say, hey, this is what happened and this is what it is, which would end up leading them, each one pointing at the other one. I didn't do it, she did it. I didn't do it, she did it. And without the body, there's no way to tell what significant damage had been done.
Well, we watched a show. Well, not a show. Actually, we followed this one case of this one baby. I can't remember the child's name now. So many of them, but father allegedly supposed to had beat the child, and the girlfriend ended up walking. She got little bit of no time, and he got entrapped with it. She did say he beat the child, and she walked away. It was his
Mm,
child. So, um, and I just don't believe it's fair that you pick one gender over the other, but we do in this world. We do, and I don't think that Rebecca's going to walk, but I think she's going to end up with a lighter sentence. Uh, Probably she'll probably get life and do 15 and do lesser than 15.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And but to Cody's voice, I was gonna say, I believe his gun charge violation was in September of 2024. Um, but I would double check that.
Wow. So that's before the baby was born.
If the baby was born in December, yes. So therefore, had he still been on that first charge from that first case, baby Emmanuel would have never been born
Well, she would have still had to. She probably was already pregnant with Manuel
in September. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. You're
for
right.
for 10 months. So the baby was conceived somewhere around in February,
Oh
March,
wow. Okay. So
beginning of
so
July.
yeah, he most definitely would have been here then.
Yeah.
So that's the significance of the gun charge, and that's what the DA should have been speaking to. Why was he out on bond, which he should have never been able to receive a bond for, because you already had a case hanging with a hammer over your head for that for 6 years.
Yeah.
And which a lot of times I guess the jail department will call the probation officer, whoever his probation officer was, and ask him, do you want us to violate his probation?
How long was his probation though?
4 years.
Okay, so he caught the case in 2018.
Oh, okay, I see. But he didn't go to trial until 2023, so that would have been 27.
Oh, so they set the probation in 23. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
So I don't know if that was. I don't know. The DA had that part wrong. He should have been referencing that probation rather than um, the lesser charge that they did give them.
Right.
Both him and his ex-wife.
Yeah. Yeah. Tina's asking, she asked this. She says, hey, Mr. Don, do you know that Vanessa's mom came out to talk?
Vanessa. Oh, saying yes, she did come out. She did make a statement. I think she referred to him as, and I think you were talking about it earlier, that basically that Jake was the devil.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I said. I said Diablo. I said, y'all, huh? That's what I see. Huh. Not meaning it, you know, that he is the devil, but he hurting, we all know when men in a relationship with a woman and things are not going right or the way that they're going, especially a person that has anger issues or control issues, when it gets out of hand and they attack the female, if it's a male that has the issues and attack the female, If the baby is, if she picks up the baby or go towards the baby or whatever, uh, the issue doesn't stop. The baby gets hurt. Uh, when they are angry like that, it's always the baby gets hurt. That's what people are seeing, and you can't say that's more than probable of what happened. You know.
The fact that he could not control the baby's crying.
Well, he could not control the baby's crying, or he could not control Rebecca, and they fighting. She picks up the baby, or she says something, and he gets to hitting her, and the baby gets hit, knocked upside the head, also falls, and he continues to hit her or whatever, and the baby's hurt. You know.
I mean, I hear what you're saying there, and I mean, how much of that is, because the whole story that he supposedly had said, allegedly had said, I rolled on the baby, or even, we had a fight in the laundry room, this happened or that happened. Well, the thing is, if it's an accident, it's an accident. You move forward and you say this is what happened, and you take it on the chin. The fact
Yeah.
that you went these extra lengths would lead any reasonable person to think, no, this wasn't an accident, especially knowing your history.
Well, even though he say it was an accident and they got to fighting and the baby got hurt, you still get in trouble for putting the baby in danger,
In
or
risk.
yeah,
Absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely.
you don't get the whole 15 to life thing. You won't get that, but you're looking at somebody that's they sitting there knowing that they've got this history behind them, and the baby's not breathing.
Wow.
And Rebecca, he's blaming Rebecca, like, Rebecca, it's your fault, da 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 da, because it just can't dawn on me why you would come up with this elaborate story, and now, like, okay, I don't know how men feel, but I kind of do, because the simple fact, I've got so many men in my family. I've got a whole bunch of brothers that can tell me, and I see them, I see they hurt. I see when, the women lie and say this is your baby and it's not. I see the games I grew up around women. They didn't cheat. They didn't run the streets. They took care of home. They took care of the kids. I'm just telling you the truth. I did not know that women even killed their babies, or didn't like their kids, or went out and cheated on their husbands, and drink and get drunk and things of that nature. I didn't know women did stuff like that. I really didn't. And everybody say, you didn't know. When I married my husband, he told me before we got married, he said, women are very conniving and manipulating, and they lie and they cheat. I say, no, they don't. And I'm thinking about all the women I know, and I'm like, they don't do no such thing, nothing like that. And come to find out, I wondered why he even thought such stuff of women like that. And as you get older, and you start seeing these women, and they do cheat. They cheat as good as men do. Some of them do, but the majority of them, I just can't see a woman not loving her child. I just can't see that.
And in this particular situation, if he was the one that did this, then she's actually putting him above her child. And
Yep.
then that's sad,
I can't
that she
I
would
can't even
even
see
go
that.
that route. And
I mean, for a guy, what do you think? You think that she could do something to her child?
well, I know, and I've heard, as I said before, I have 5 kids, and mine are all grown. The thing is, is it, there is a true thing of postpartum depression.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there is also drug and alcohol abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, when you're caught in a situation like that, especially when it comes to drugs and alcohol, you will put that before anything.
Right.
So I don't put anything past what they would have thought, especially seeing the result of being able to come up with some weird story to try and cover it up.
Well, there was this analyst, and I can't remember. I think they was on News Nation or they was on Fox. They was either on one or the other. And that analyst said that she there's one thing that she does, and he was talking about Rebecca,
Mm-hmm.
is get everybody away from Jake and get them away from the house. And she feels like she is the blame of her child deceased. So she's trying to take the rap all on her own, and that's why they
Mm,
came up with this story. That's what
wow.
that's what he said, and I was like, okay, get them away from the house and get them away from Jake. Jake's at the football field, and she decided to go get this mouthpiece for a game that only got 15 to 20 more minutes to play, which makes no sense. Like by the
I
time,
mean, and in all actuality, I think they said they got to the game at 5:30, and the game/practice, and everything was to be over at 8 o'clock. And she's saying she left about 7 o'clock.
mm-hmm,
So I would expect that the police would have some video footage from the from the parking lot of the game, or the football field of the game, as well as the traffic lights. I think there was 3 major traffic lights between there and the Big Five store, um, to show to put her in that area at that time.
and her phone will show her traveling from that football game to the Big Five.
Right, and I guess they did refer to having that, the technological advancements of that. So if the phone itself, or the phone on CarPlay to the vehicle, all of that would be trackable. But going back to how far is it? I think I said earlier it was 20 minutes from their home to the Badlands area. From Ukaipa to the Badlands is more like 10 minutes.
Okay.
So it's actually closer, you know. So there's a lot of possibilities, and I think a lot of that is going to be centered around the travel of those vehicles, and the phone information. Where have
Right.
they been between those 10 days that he mentioned? Was it 10 days from the 5th to the 14th? 9 days. And the
Yeah.
9 days that they were inferring.
Yeah. If people just watch the news, and I mean, I'm not saying go out and do a crime or anything, but I mean, there's a way that, well, we all know to don't take your phones with you. And then, well, that tells a lot. That tells a lot. It does. It it shares your location, regardless if you put it on there or not. It lets you, and then your cars that you drive. You driving a newer car, it tells you your location too.
Yeah. Well, I kind of feel somewhat ambivalent about that because in some situations it is a good thing that you can, turn your phone on, and a lot of people share their location with relatives just in case something happens. You can always say, okay, on my phone it shows them right here, especially in an area where we live at, where almost every day you're traveling through the mountains and the desert out here in this area.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places that, you could literally run off the road and you're, down on the side of the cliff, run off into the sand dunes or anything like that. So, there's that part. But, say for instance, you're going on a dinner date or you're going, for a getaway. Yeah, turn that phone off. That phone, that phone's not even getting out the luggage.
Right. Well, yeah, I would be scared to turn off a road and not know I get stuck because nobody would know how to find you. You would have to walk back to the road just to even get someone, like I'm just scared that cars can mess up at any time or get stuck. But when the community out there says, they said that baby is gone.
I think many people do have that sentiment that, the remains may never be found unless one of them come forward, the one that knows where or they're about. And as far as the landfills that picks up for Riverside County, I think it's divided into two. You have one in the or there's three. There's one in the Badlands, and then there's another one in Lambs Canyon. And we're talking about, I mean, that's probably 40, 50 acres of just trash that they just cover over and cover over and cover over.
Right.
And I'm telling you, we are so far inland over here. But if you go out to the dump, you will see so many seagulls, so many crows. I mean, it looks like you're right there at the ocean because of the amount of seagulls just ravaging through the trash and everything that's there.
Wow. Ugh. It
Yeah,
gotta stink, don't it?
it's bad. It's bad. It's out. That's why they call it the Badlands. All of those hills, a lot of those hills at one point in time was a dump, and then they just filled it in with dirt, leave it for about, I think the stay time is something like 15, 20 years before a lot of that stuff, how do you say, deteriorates or, um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And then nobody can build out there or anything.
Well, after a certain period of time. We have a lot of areas out here. I remember Porter Ranch being one of them. Basically, they're built on top of what used to be a landfill at one point in time.
Yeah. They're trying to keep it hush hush, but they are looking into a landfill. You did know that, right?
Yeah, I think, and then they very well could be inside the landfill. I mean, number one, the one in Lambs Canyon, it's always a line of cars to get in there. Two, they could be in there. They could be in there with the dogs. And what I've seen them do in the past is, if they thought that the trash was taken from this area, they know where those trucks, they have a specific part or a specific area that they dump on that day. They could just be going through that area with
Right.
the dogs. I mean, we'd actually have to go into the landfill to see that.
Right. Well, yeah, they can't bring them dogs in there. It mess them
Yeah,
dogs up.
I can only imagine. Yeah, they probably, even though they're, trained for a certain scent, it
Yeah.
would have to be overwhelming.
It would. Oh yeah. At first I couldn't believe. I'd be like, they need the dogs in there. And so they was like, no, they can't bring them dogs in there.
Yeah.
That dog would just be, well, it take a long time to get them retrained again, but they'll get sick. Because you just imagine, all the trash from people's, a lot of Spanish people don't really understand how they don't throw their toilet tissue in the toilet. I don't know why, but they don't. And you got to just know, it just makes it where your toilet don't get flooded and stopped up, but they just put it in the trash, which,
Right.
I do know they do that because they taught me some of that, and I was like, oh wow, now I don't have toilet problems like I used to have anymore. But and then the not the disposable pads and tampons and things of that nature is all in the trash, and then there's blood and stuff from from whatever, all in the trash. Them dogs go crazy.
I mean, it's some of everything in there from all over the county. It's got to be, hundreds of thousands of different homes. And not only from, some of the people, even though you may be in the unincorporated area, they have some subcontractors. Someone that just wants to pull a trailer behind their truck and tell you, hey, they'll undercut waste management and say, well, we'll charge you $25 a month to dump your trash.
Right.
So, then they'd have to account for, okay, well, where do these independent contractors, where do they take their dump to? They could take their trash to a totally different dump. Or as I've seen in a lot of areas, they could just be dumping that trash on the side of the road or in one of the canyons.
Oh yeah, I'll go take it in in one of the desert areas and just get rid of, especially mattresses and stuff. Did you hear? And I know we've been on here long. I want to ask you this question though. Did you hear that Rebecca was giving away baby clothes prior to this situation?
What date? I want to say that was. I remember seeing that video from Monetera. He went to the clothing store or the
Yeah,
it's kind of like a Goodwill. I don't remember exactly what the name of the store was, but was giving away brand new clothes, was giving away, worn clothes. And that's the thing that is very telling. I mean, of course, a lot of times I remember my ex-wife used to buy up a whole bunch of clothes. You're like, okay, well, the baby's not gonna wear all of this, or you're gonna outgrow this, you know. Yeah, so you're gonna give away something. I can
right,
see that. Um, but when you put all those things together, you're giving away the clothes, you're taking down the pictures. Nobody's seen the baby. It's just, and a lot of that is circumstantial, yes. However, a lot of those are pieces to a bigger puzzle.
right, right.
But yeah, I did see that as well.
This is kind of surprising to me. I think this sometimes, and I could be way in left field, but I also think the worst. May just say that's new info. She didn't hear that. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
but I think the worst sometimes because Rebecca is somewhat of a big woman, in the stomach area. That and being 41, and some people be like, "Oh, SP women 41 are always, it is very unusual for a woman 41. I'm not saying it's impossible. I said it's unusual for a 41-year-old woman to be having a baby. So with that being said, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it could be that she never did have a baby and this is somebody else's baby, and I'm just saying, because 40 being 40, 41, it's possible to have a baby. It's definitely possible. People do it all the time, 40s in their 40s, but it's more than likely when they reach that age, it's very slim having a baby. I'm just saying, you know, um, I'm not saying it's
But
impossible. I'm just saying it's unusual.
right, because of the higher risk factors.
Right. Now
Right.
they can get pregnant if because they still have menstrual, but they only have menstrual, you know, like 10 years, maybe less than that. But with her being big like she is, and I don't see that as baby fat. When I look at her, I don't see that as you're big because that's baby fat.
Hmm.
I see a big female. Your stomach's big, your waist is big, and it's not at the top, it's down below. So it could be that you're dropping the baby fat. But okay, if your baby's already 7 months, I don't see her with um, baby fat from a baby. I just don't. When I look at her when
Oh,
she's walking, I don't see that in her. I just see a big woman, like overeater. I'm just
and
being honest with you.
and
And
see, so with you saying that, I guess that's the type thing that would come out in trial, whether or not the baby was home birth or whether or not the baby was actually born in one of the local hospitals.
yeah,
Or
well, she
very
do have
true.
the
I mean,
2 year old. She has the 2 year old. She's 41, so she done had the 2 year old when she was 39, and then she had another child at a later years. Hmm.
it, yeah, and all the while nobody's working.
And
You know,
see that's why I say if I was an investigator on this case, I would see did she even go to the hospital and get checked out, and who said she was.
prenatal care and all that, right?
Yeah, because you being big, women always say, "Oh, I'm not fat. I'm pregnant." And then one year, you be like, "Oh, I had the baby," and you got a baby. Oh, we didn't have it in the hospital. I'm you. You know
You
what? I'm
you see
serious.
what you see down in the chat what Mia Costa said.
What's that?
Mia said,
She
she
said,
said,
"Girl, my kid's 13, and I'm still blaming it on baby fat." I know, but it's a different look when it's baby fat. You understand what I'm saying? It's a different.
yeah, yeah, but like she just put in the chat, was that baby fat or was that beer fat?
Well, when you look at Rebecca, um, hers does not look like baby fat.
Mhm.
She
Okay.
she actually looks like that's her normal weight. And I'm
Mm.
I'm I'm no expert, but I've been around a lot of pregnant women, and that's what I'm pediatric nurse. So you know I wouldn't look at her and say, "Oh, you had a baby 7 months ago." When I look at her, she doesn't look to me like she had a baby 7 months ago. She just looks like like that's her normal weight. I mean, it's not chunky fat, but it's just like you. like a weight that you just cannot just take off, but it's not baby fat. And it's not alcohol either.
So with that being said, um, what would be the advantages of her, if she somehow came across a baby, what would be the advantages of that for her or
Well,
for them?
she probably, and and I'm gonna say this, and I know people are not gonna give me credit down the road, but you guys will at least know that I said it. Um, and I'm just speaking. I just she just don't look to me like she had a baby. She just don't. And the advantage of that is, well, she wanted a baby. You remember her the grandma, or I guess it's her
Mhm.
mom, came out and said she wanted a baby so bad. She wanted a baby so bad. Okay. You can buy babies all day long, or you can get babies, or go get a baby from Mexico or whatever and bring them back over here and say that they're yours, or you take care of somebody's baby. They give you their baby to raise because they're illegal or whatever. But
Okay.
I'm just saying, if this comes out to be, everybody gonna say CSP ain't that crazy. People say she crazy, but I just look at, okay, so you bring this baby home because you're big bone. And you can tell she's not a big bone woman. You could tell that's just fat. I mean, it's not just in her face, it's in her arms, it's in her legs. She doesn't have shorts on. I looked at her breast. Her breast is not like, you carrying a whole bunch of milk, because you're still going to produce milk even though your baby's 7 months old. Your boobs are going to protrude out more. I do see a little bit of that in her boobs. That's all I see, but she got a well fitted bra on. And usually, when women, I'm just saying, when women have a baby and that milk start producing, your bra's not gonna fit well. No, it's not. I'm just saying, you have a baby, whether the baby is breastfed or not, that milk is still going to produce, and your bra is going to look like you got four titties sitting up there. I'm
Mm,
just saying. And
okay.
nobody worries about that. You don't even think about that. When that baby's here, you don't even think about that. So when I look and she got a well-fitted bra on, I'm just saying, I y'all don't see stuff like that.
So there's a lot to be investigated all the way around. I
Yes.
mean, because you told me some information. There are some things there. I mean, I'm listening.
She's got
I'm
a
learning.
she's got a well-fitted bra on that's not protruding no extra tits or anything. What? You mean you done went out and brought you a bra to fit? Woman, we don't even think about stuff like that. We don't even know our body is producing milk that fast that your bra is not gonna fit you the same way. It's just not. I'm just saying. I see stuff like that. I looked at her tits and her boobs and her bra, and I'm like, this woman ain't even got a protruding tit coming out the side or the up part or anything. See, midget even say, and it's always changing size and everything. Yeah, but her bra fits her well. Her bra fits her well. I'm just saying. I look at that woman and I just said to myself, for you to just have two kids and you thought about, you know, the extra weight and how your tits is going to grow so much with that milk that you've got a bra that fits. Hmm.
Well, I'm finding all this that you're saying interesting because, and from the aspect of, people were saying, wow, where did she find from the time that this happened on the 14th? Um, where did she find time to get her hair done? Where did she find time to get her nails done? Where did she, and now you're saying, fitted bras and all of this. It's like, I mean, to me, it's starting to sound like, were you prepping for the spotlight?
Yeah, where did she find time to get a bra that fits her? And when they took her to jail, she had shorts on. I'm gonna tell you something about a woman. I'm just gonna tell you, and I may be wrong, but I doubt it. But a woman just had a baby seven, 8 months ago. And if you ain't lost a baby fat, you definitely ain't gonna put on those shorts. Okay? You definitely ain't finna put on those shorts because your body is all out of whack. And and if that is baby fat and you all out of whack, but she got shorts on.
Hmm.
You tell me, it's hard for a woman to put on shorts when you know your body is all distorted. It is. That's the last thing you want anybody to see is your legs. And I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't care how hot it is. He got a whole hoodie
Well,
on, but and then here she is with some shorts and short sleeve, and it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, you put on some shorts and you had a baby 7 months ago, but you still got the baby fat. That's not baby fat. That's I can tell that's her actual weight. That's her weight. hmm I don't think she even had a baby.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't even think she even had a baby. I just don't. But we'll see. And then you know what? That's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be crazy. You say, okay. Then they gonna
I
have to find
mean,
out where did she end up with this baby. You know what I'm saying?
wow, which ends up being a whole different road. But yeah, where did the baby come from if it wasn't from her?
Right,
Well,
right.
and so yeah, that would be a lot. Where did the baby come from, and where did the baby go to?
Because there's there's I know people don't want it to get all ugly and dirty and all of this other stuff. Midget says, I think she has more than thin waist, bigger top kind of figure. They aren't thin, but she has 4 or 5 kids, and in comparison.
One, two, three, four, five. Wait a minute. One, two, three, four, 5 kids. Yeah. Okay.
Thin legs, dang it. She does have thin legs. And she's heavy on the top, but I mean, if you can't say I'm crazy because her weight does look like just regular weight. It does not look. Do it to you look like that's baby fat from having a baby, or does that look like her normal weight?
Guys, to me, you're asking me. I mean,
Yeah.
she just no. It don't look like baby fat to me.
Hmm.
It looked like they was eating good up in there, and they was eating or drinking or whatever. That wow.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's what some people don't see that, but if you really look at her, she doesn't look like she had a baby 7 months ago. That looks like her actual weight. And
Yeah, and
and, and I'm just pointing out. I have a picture. Let me see here. I have a picture of her, and on that picture, she with her and Jake, um, her bra fits are just well, God. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I said, I think too much. Let's see here. I said, I think too much. I shouldn't
Yeah.
think as much as I do. Let me see. You see her bra right there? Let me see here. Let me
Okay. Yeah. I think I can see.
look at her bra. It fits her well, right? It fits her well. Right
Yeah.
underneath her arm too, there's a bruise right underneath her left arm, right in underneath by her armpit. I'm just saying, I just don't I just don't think that she's smart enough to go out and go, hey, my top's not fitting me. I need to get a two size bigger bra, you know, because whether the baby is breastfed or not being breastfed, that milk is going to keep coming into your body, and there's no way to stop it.
Hmm. It was not said that the 16-year-old or the teenager lived with them. Uh, as much as I'd heard was that the only two was the 2-year-old and baby Emmanuel was in their custody.
Midget says, heavy on the top, I messed all up. Could be either. After that, many kids, her weight would probably be her weight. So does her white t-shirt. Yeah, everything I seen her wear, it fitted her right, and her bras fitted her. Trust me, you can have. They say that her and Rebecca, like Rebecca may have other kids, but her and Jake only has those two together.
Only have the two together, correct?
And they may find out that she ain't even had no kid. How they gonna find out? How they gonna find out that she had a kid or not have a kid? Women, they go to extremes when they want to have a baby by a man, a particular man, and they want to keep that man. And so, and you've heard of these stories, they happen.
Oh, SP.
Huh?
Now you didn't had the grandmother, even though the grandmother said she never met the baby, but
Uh-huh.
the sister said, she's seen the baby. So it's still gonna lead back to, okay, even if you didn't have this produce this baby yourself, where did this baby come from, and where is this baby at now?
Right. Right.
I mean, that's bro. I mean, that would be a serious twist in
Well, and
an
then
already twisted situation.
you got to think. You said that she done had this baby. She didn't have the baby in the hospital. Well, I just don't believe that. And if she didn't have the baby in the hospital, she had the baby at home. Why would you not want your mom there? Why would you not
Um, it
want
was it,
when a woman is having a baby? Do you not know? My mother told me when a woman is having a baby, she crossed pretty much, like it's almost like death. And you definitely would want your mother there. So if you're at the hospital, which I was at the hospital having my first child, something went wrong. And I told my mom, something's definitely wrong here. They wouldn't listen to me. They were doing what they want to do. And I told the nurse to get out of here. Something is wrong. This is before I was even a nurse. And I will not speak to no one else. Nobody come in this room unless it's the doctor. She told me that I was, not paranoid, but exaggerating. I've been watching too many movies or something, and the pain. And I was at a level 3. My CC, what they call cervical, was level 3, and I said, well, what do we got to go to? And she said 10. I said, we're not going to get to 10. Get my doctor in here. We're not going to get to 10 because I am high tolerance pain person. This right here is like a 30. So get my doctor in here. Do not look at me no more. They called my doctor. They told the doctor the patient will not see us no more. She will not let us look at her no more. You need to come in here, or she's going to die. The doctor got up, came to the hospital, asked me, why are you giving the nurses a problem? I said, because they're saying it's a level 3, and this is not no 3. This is not no get paying 3. We're not going to get to 10. And he said, okay, put your legs up in the strap and let me see what's going on. He looked, and his eyes got big and said, we need to do emergency C-section. And I said, what's going on? They already told me to turn, stuck a needle in my back. I'm not feeling nothing. And I'm going, what's going on? What's going on? They having my mother sign the papers for a emergency C-section. My baby was coming out breech. Now, the reason why I told you that story is because I've had problems with both. On my son, they got the babies mixed up and said that this was my baby and I couldn't see him no more because he had something in his system, which I've never done drugs in my life. Never. I wouldn't even know what it looks like. But they said my baby had cocaine in his system. And I had to call my attorney while I'm in the hospital. So my mother always told me, you need to always have a family member, someone in there to delegate if something goes wrong because you passed death. Freddie said 9 times. I couldn't remember if she said 10 or 9. I knew it was 7, 8, 9, or 10. You passed death having a baby. Like you literally go through some stuff. So why would her mother not be there when she birthed these kids? Or her sister? Why not? And then the grandma ain't never seen the baby before. You done had this baby 7 months.
That's what was said, was that the grandmother just came back around, or just started coming back around in May, because she was trying to put a restraining order on the grandmother for whatever reason.
Now, I'll look
which
at that
ended up
baby.
falling through, being dismissed.
The baby do look like the mama, though. The baby do look like the mama.
You said that with hesitation.
Yeah, she do.
Oh, okay.
The baby do look like the mama, but I'm just wondering why. Okay, because I did not know that the mama never seen the baby. She wasn't there when the baby was born. I just noticed that her bra fits, and I know that ain't nothing to go on, but
see, that goes with the few days between the 5th and the 14th that she was seen at the some kind of mall. I forgot the name of the mall. Waterman's Mall, where she was selling the coins, cashing in the coins, I should say. She had been selling some other items, so getting money in her hands to go out and buy. Because even in the picture you put up a little while ago, that sweatshirt, that Jake had on, that looked brand new.
Yeah.
I don't care how many times I wash my sweatshirts inside out, they still don't be that white.
Right.
So
she getting rid of baby stuff, selling stuff. It could be some drugs up in there. She probably gave her baby away.
That's a lot going on.
Going on. I can see it. It could be anything. So when people say, "Oh, that's far fetched," it could be anything. It don't even have to be her baby. You know, but they can actually tell if she had a baby or not. But they can't. They can't just go in there and probing her and all that. They can't do that. You know what I mean?
Well,
That's
I mean, wouldn't you be able to? Okay, so if you, so what it's been about close to a year or coming up on it. No, it's not even. I mean, wouldn't you be able to, medically speaking, would you be able to take some type of test that will show your different hormonal levels of maybe, with having a baby within the last 6, 8, 10 months? Is that a possibility?
yeah, but you can ask her to do it. She say no. No means no. They they can't make you um
Hmm.
test your levels to see if you still got the chemicals in your body. She should still have the chemicals in her body that she had a baby.
So she could deny that like she denied the polygraph.
Yep.
Right. I hear you. I hear you.
She could say no. Cause I don't know what you're trying to put in my body. I don't know. That's a woman's body. But she has to have had this baby in a hospital. If she didn't have this baby in the hospital, I don't believe she had a baby. Hmm. I'm saying if she had the baby in the hospital, okay, now I believe she had the baby. But if someone's saying, oh no, she had this baby at home, I don't believe she had a baby. I just don't. The only way I would believe that this woman had a baby is if she was at a hospital and she had this baby. Because to be honest with you, mm-mm, she do not look to me like she had a baby. Now the baby do look like her. When I put Emmanuel's picture up against hers, their face expression, especially that one where he looks like he's got this hematoma on top of his head, she looks just like him,
Okay.
or he looks like her. But that don't mean anything, you know. But it does mean something when a woman has a bra on that is perfect. How? No, I'm serious. You know what
No,
I'm
no, I
saying?
was I was laughing at what Freddie was saying in the
What Freddie
chat.
say?
Yeah, about the white sweatshirts that they're not really white, they're yellowish. That sounds more like it. 'Cause I think I get them, have them for a few months, and I get rid of them because it's always going to be some that I need to just stop buying white sweatshirts. Is what I need to do, but
Well, when you hear later on, there's another twist to the story, and it'd be like you're gonna say, "Oh, SP told us that it might be something," because and I just look at the little detail stuff. But like I said, if I was there and I was an investigator there, I would um I would check into the Costco, the young lady that said something about Costco, and go over their videos and see, and then I would search to make sure she did have this baby,
hmm.
because there's more to this story than just Emmanuel is missing. There's more to this story. This this see, I have a lot of brothers, and they date these women, and this is a true story. Let me share this true story with you. I went to
Okay.
school with this girl, so I knew her, and I actually even say her name. Her name is Cassandra. Anyway, she dated one of my brothers. When we were in school, she broke in my locker, stole my clothes, and this coin, which was a black person on a coin, which nobody's ever seen. It's Booker T. My great grandmother gave it to me, and it's hard for me to find that coin again because usually people or money is already deceased. But nevertheless, I had this coin and I wanted it back. So we did call the police because it was very expensive coin. Nevertheless, I knew this woman, this girl. As we grew up a little bit, maybe a year or so, she wanted to fight me because I called the police and she got in trouble for stealing my clothes. I did get my clothes back. I never did get the coin. So they wanted to beat me up. So I knew this girl very, very well. Anyway, when she found out that was one of my brothers, which she was like, y'all just saying this, saying that, because they never did see me around. Because every time when school started, I would either stay with my aunt, which was rich. But nevertheless, um, this girl wanted to fight me. She finally didn't fight me because she's dating my brother and was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna fight your sister. And my brother's like, no, heck no, you're not gonna fight my sister. Because see, everybody thought I was a half sister because I never was around. Nevertheless, me and this girl got to knowing each other really well. She started dating my brother. My brother continued to date her, dated her for about 5 or 6 years. She come out and she tells my family she's pregnant. My brother's very happy. He has no kids. Um, so he's working 2, 3 jobs and he's working. And as months go by, she never did want him to go to the hospital. So he never did go to the hospital with her to the doctor's appointments or nothing. And so 8 months come, 9 months come, 10 months come. We're like, when's she gonna have a baby? Now we done seen this girl, like every couple of months we see her and her stomach is getting bigger and rounder, like she's pregnant. And so we're buying, cribs and pampers and you name it, carriers and strollers and stuff.
Mm.
And we bought everything for this baby and we're waiting on this baby and we're waiting on this baby. My mother finally told my brother, you go to the doctor with her. And she's like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And he takes her to the hospital. Something is wrong. And the doctor told my brother, she's not pregnant.
Oh, man.
And she has a full, big belly. And we were like, well, what's nobody in the family believed this doctor telling us she is not pregnant. I swear to you, this is a true story. You couldn't have told me this woman wasn't pregnant. I'm looking at her and I know it's not a pillow. I see her belly. And they say it's some kind of syndrome where she wanted to believe that she was pregnant so bad that the symptoms of her stomach swelling up as if she was carrying a baby was, in fact, like she was pregnant, but she was not pregnant. Now, it took forever for the whole family to get over this. My brother was like, I'm done with you. Okay.
Wow.
So we got over that. I seen this woman 2 years ago. Me and my husband was trying to open up another store and we were going to get started. So we started in the flea market again. And she comes up to me and I couldn't really remember what her name was. And she said her name was like, I can't really remember. Hold on. Honey. What was that girl's name that I told you I knew? What was her name? What did she say her name was? The girl that I told you her name was Cassandra, but then she dated my brother. What she say her name was?
I don't know what she did. I don't remember.
But she didn't say it was Cassandra. She said it was like it started with an L, like because remember the other girl's name was the same name we were saying. Y'all got the same name.
Son?
Huh?
I don't know.
Oh yeah. Anyway, I was trying to remember the girl's name. I'm sorry. I was trying to remember the girl's name. I think she said her name started with an L, like uh like Landry or something. And I told my husband, I said her name is not no Landra. I know her very well. She dated my brother and said that she had this baby and she never did have a baby. And she swore up and down her name was Landria, and that was her name. People do stuff like this all the time. And I don't even know why she's going underneath this new name called Landria or whatever. But she knew I know her, and I know her very well. And I told my husband the whole situation. I was like, this woman was the one that dated my brother, that stole my clothes in the gym and got mad. And she claimed that she had a whole baby, and my brother worked 3 freaking jobs, and
Mm.
she never was even pregnant. And my husband, I told him, I said, you be very careful around her, because I know her very well. I don't know why she changed her name. Just think, what if she would have went and got somebody's baby and then came home and said, I had the baby. I went over my sister's house, had the baby. I didn't want to call you, and here's the baby.
And
We
you
all
know that almost sounds like a movie.
you think I'm lying? I'm
No, no,
telling you.
I'm just saying. I mean, that sounds like a screenplay that, I I believe there are people that will actually do that because of some type of past, traumas, but I had never heard of what you were speaking about before that, I mean, she basically convinced herself that she was pregnant, therefore her body reacted to that same thought. I
I'm
mean,
telling you, it happened. And I kid you not. I seen this woman for myself, and I'm like, I was convinced she is pregnant. I was like, I was out of words. I was like, ain't no way. When my mother was like, that girl ain't pregnant, then you being pregnant. I'm like, no, that's impossible, mama. I seen her for myself. She was pregnant.
well,
She said,
I guess the other question was when your brother when they told your brother that when your mom told your brother to take her to the hospital, why was she saying she didn't want to go to the hospital?
she came up with all kind of excuses. I don't know what her excuses was, but she was not going. He literally threatened her and said, if you do not go to the hospital, I am done. And she went, and the doctor told him she is not pregnant. And nobody could believe she was not pregnant, but she was not pregnant. And I mean, she had the full big round belly. I
So
mean,
so now you got all the baby clothes and strollers and cribs and all of this stuff in preparation for, and she's not even pregnant.
and she wasn't even pregnant. Nope. Yeah. It's called something. I can look it up what it's called, but I kid you, had it never happened, I wouldn't be able to know that, wouldn't believe uh, that people honestly do stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
Tina says a gynecologist can tell that a gynecologist could tell that she would have had a baby 7 months ago or not.
Well,
Tina, yeah, you're right. They can tell if she opens her legs and let them look. That doesn't mean she's going to open up her legs and say, yeah, tell me if I had a baby or not. Come and take a look. She can say, no, you're not looking at nothing. I don't have to open my legs up to nothing because she doesn't, you know?
Wow. Yeah, that's a whole nother different dynamics,
Do you think
but
the judge can order her to do it?
well, see, I don't think so. I don't know. I'm under the, you can't tell anyone what they can do with their body, order or
Right.
not order, you just, it's that person's thing. Now, when it comes to what you may expel from your body, it's no longer yours.
Right.
So if there's some other way, and in the technology that we have, um, that they could find that out, that so much of this hinges on them actually coming forth with all the answers. That we're not, sitting here playing Clue, trying to figure out who did what in what room and all of this. And, is this something that's just a mind game going on in their heads?
Right.
But,
You're right.
but yeah, I don't think that could be ordered no more than they can put forth an order to force them to take a polygraph.
It's called
But that's what I was going to say. Oh, go ahead.
it's called uh pres- pseudocesis. It's called a false pregnancy where the body experiences real symptoms despite no fetus being pregnant. Uh,
Mm.
Fetocysis. A woman can appear pregnant due to several medical and psychological conditions. Swelling with gas, bloating from endometrius, which is the belly, with weight gain, increasing the body fat, urinal retention can also contribute to an enlarged abdomen. I'm telling you, they say it's a rare condition where a person believes they are pregnant and experience many physical symptoms, but there is no actual fetus. That's what it was called. Yeah, wow, it happened.
Okay.
But I don't
Wow.
think this woman done this. I'm just saying, like women do go to extreme situations when they're in love with a man, and they will lie, and you know but I don't she just doesn't look like she got baby fat. I'm just saying. But you watch and see, there might be another twist in this, and you're gonna say, well, I'm gonna have to go and apologize, because I know you don't believe it, do you, Don?
Which part? Whether
Whether the baby, like she had the baby, or she was even pregnant.
I mean, unless I think that she did have the baby. I think that she did have the baby. I'm also leaning towards the baby may have been born at home just because there was someone that alleged to have been there. But like I said earlier, those are the type things that would come out in and around the trial or investigation of the trial. Um,
Right, right. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I believe that there's going to be, it's not going to be a cut. See, they're making it where they say, okay, this baby had prolonged um, abuse.
hmm
How they gonna show prolonged abuse if you don't even have the baby? Medical records. That means, see, that's why I tell people, okay, there's got to be medical records that this baby even existed. It's got to be medical records for you to say prolonged abuse, where you done brought the baby in and he had a hematoma on this side, or he had a bump on the back of his head. He had some bruises too. You know, it's got to be other, more than, because nobody else actually see the baby.
Well, the medical records or someone that was close giving them that information.
That's why I said they say they got medical records.
Okay,
So
so she may have gone to the doctor after or before. No, she would have had to gone to the doctor after, but does that explain away not? Well, maybe that was just a story to say we don't have the baby. The whole thing about the immunizations, that's why we're not taking them into the football game, or that's not why we're bringing them around people. So that was just something said to cover up the fact that the baby is no longer with us.
she say they Mike said that they've got proof. They got medical records.
Mm.
That means she okay. That means she done took this baby to the doctor before. They got medical records.
Well, I would hope that in 7 months, and even prior to that, she would have been to the doctor. Maybe not getting the actual immunization shots or being up to date on the shots, but still to be able to make sure that the baby is fine. But we have to also look at the fact that with the other daughter Promise, Jake's other daughter Promise, um, a lot was found out when they took that baby to the doctor. So if he knew he was doing something, abusing the child, of course he's going to try not to take the baby to the doctor
Right,
this time, knowing what happened the last time.
right. So, well, they said that CPS haven't been to their home and they have no open cases on that particular home.
Hmm.
Um, he married Rebecca 3 years ago. So they've been married 3 years. They got two kids. Mike say they got medical records and uh, technology evidence.
Hmm.
They got more than enough. So with the medical records and technology, they can prove that this baby was under excruciating abuse.
And that's what you're going to have to prove.
Hmm. Well, if the baby was seen with hematomas and they said his eyes was crossed. Mm.
Yeah,
Baby wasn't
and
even born
that's
with his eyes. Normal babies, their eyes do cross. One of them usually go,
yeah, but
inward.
his even the baby's head began to take on a different form from the three previous pictures, the three early pictures.
Yeah,
um there seemed to have been something going on, and they may have collected other pictures either from the telephones or the cell phones, or
yeah,
from the pictures that were in the home that showed a progression over time.
right. You're right. Right. Hmm. I think.
Because really at the first sign of something being wrong like that, you should have been off into the doctor quick.
Hmm.
But it sounded like, and I'm going from what the sister was saying, and then she ended up taking down the video. But seemed like they were just convinced that the baby's eyes are just naturally crossed. And whereas, okay, yeah, well, how is it, or why is it, or what's that one thing, meningitis? Did the baby have meningitis, at birth, or was there something going on? Did it ever have any high temperatures? There's something that would have been going on to cause that condition, or, you know, was the baby immobile and constantly laying on its side, one side or the other? And having to look up sideways, you know what I mean? Like in some of the pictures that you see. Because honestly, to me, having not had kids, but, with my kids myself, to me, those pictures do not look as though the baby was mobile.
Hmm.
That's just my perception of what I see in the pictures.
He was
You know,
he looked like a sad baby.
I saw sadness, I saw fear. There was one picture that really, whoever took that picture, he really looked like he was in fear in that photo.
Right, with him with the blue on.
I would have to see it again. I don't remember exactly what he had on. I just remember the eyes. His eyes looked like he literally was in fear. And even at that age, no baby should know fear. I mean, a look of confusion, a look of trying to understand, but fear, no.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Something's not right. Something is just not right.
Yeah, most definitely, it looks like he was going through some form of abuse.
Yeah. I only
You know,
seen one picture where he was a happy baby.
I think that was one of the early pictures. He couldn't have been looked like he was about a month old. He was literally laying on his back. His legs were in the air. His hands were in the air. Yeah. Every other picture after that, there was something else going on.
Yeah.
Okay, Phyllis, thank you. You take care.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna get out of here and see it's 4:19 here.
Alrighty.
Head to the gym, but I'll try and get out there as early as I can, or as early as traffic will allow um, us to get there and check out, see some of the content creators that have been out there, and um,
Well, I hope we catch you out there.
yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, typically, normally when I go that way, I usually ride my motorcycle, but I think I'll take the car.
Yeah, you might be able to get into the court, but yeah, it'll be a lot of people there. It'll be a line.
Yeah, and with it being a high profile, I'm sure they'll do the same thing that they did after.
Yeah, and it ain't even gonna be long anyway. It'll be about maybe no more than 15 minutes. They'll do the arraignment again, and but these people ain't gonna tell us nothing. They ain't gonna say nothing. Maybe
I don't
Jake.
think so.
I think Jake. They got a better chance with Jake. They do, but we'll see.
I don't know. I mean, I think you know, by now, what's it been? 3 weeks now, maybe altogether. The 14th. one, two. It's just this about the third week.
Yeah.
I would think that she's coming up on the period that she's probably ready to say something.
You think so? I don't think she's going to say anything. I think when he did this little, his attorney told him not to be doing no press conference, but he came on and said, God is with us, which he know that's Emmanuel's name. Emmanuel means God is with us. And they put two together. He's trying to put out a hidden message out there that she'll see that and that'll keep her silence. I mean,
Yeah,
that's what
but
I got out of it.
and even still, even if she was to, even let's say for instance, even if she was to walk out of there today, where does she go? No, you know what I mean. Um, where does she go to?
Yeah. Well, they're
No,
trying to get enough money out there.
what to bail out?
Yeah.
Oh, that's. I'm telling you, as I tell people that I know, don't even waste your money trying to bail out in this county. Don't even waste your money because as soon as you bail out, the history of this county is adding another charge and rearresting you.
Yeah.
Notorious for doing that because
Yeah.
they could always throw conspiracy on top of all of this that they already have because they did conspire with the story and everything else, but it's misleading the public. There is an extra charge in the bag.
Yeah.
So now all you're doing, if you bailing out, you're just depleting your finances.
Yeah, but he wants her out. And I think if she gets out, she'll leave the United States.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Well, I don't see either one of them getting out now.
I don't see it either. I don't think nobody's going to give him enough money to do that.
Yeah, you can either. How does that go? You put up properties, signatures, backed by properties, or I mean, she's got $1 million bail. So that's we're talking $100,000. So she probably would have to have 5 people put up $20,000 a piece, and then
Yeah.
that money they get it back. They may get it back if she shows up for court. If she don't show up for court, all that money's gone. Uh, I don't see it. But
Yeah.
those are the realizations that are gonna start setting in, and I mean, he may be. I don't even know if he did any jail time before, but he may be okay with that. I don't think she will be.
Right. Right. It'll be
You
hard on
know,
her. But she loves Jake.
well, yeah,
And
that's
Jake loves her. Jake says she's a good wife, a good mother. She love her kids. Mm.
listen, yeah,
Well, we'll see what
they, they,
happens.
they, yeah, they might as well write the end of that story. They might as well write the end of that because somebody's got to answer for that and answer in a way of many years.
Right.
And that's what I think. That's where I think the reality is gonna set in. We thought we was gonna get away, but now we're seeing we're not gonna get away. you know.
See, with Jake already went through this before, and um, it took him what from the 18th to the 23rd to finally plead guilty. That was years. Eight.
Well, yeah, I think it said 15 continuations for that particular hearing. Now, granted, we did go through COVID during that time. That could have been the reason for some of the continuations, but I don't think we had the C-19 in 1819, maybe early 20. But I mean, when you think about that, 15 continuations, man, that's a lot. That's a lot right there.
Yeah.
Okay, Freddie, I'll see you all later. I'm gonna get off here and it's time to eat.
Alrighty.
And SB, thanks for allowing me up. And I'll let you know what I see tomorrow.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Okay, sure thing. Take care.
Alrighty.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye bye. Hey, you guys. That was Don. He's down there in the California area, and he's going to go to the courthouse tomorrow. I guess he probably getting ready to go to work out and work. But I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, other than they're going to have that arraignment. And it's always good to hear from down there in California what how their thinking is. I mean, I think they think a lot of hope for someone to come out and say, hey, I'm sick and tired of this, so let me go ahead and tell you what happened. Once that ball get to rolling, it's like a snowball. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It don't get smaller. It just really don't. But we'll see what happens. I'm reading this little clip right here. It just came up 38 minutes ago. It says, little Emmanuel, Harold's father, never served a day in prison despite being convicted of savagely abusing another of his children just a few years earlier. The latest shocking example of policies backed by the governor Gavin Newsom that have focused on shutting down penitentiaries and attempting to rehabilitate criminals over locking them up. Jake has faced up to 6 years behind bars for battering his 10-year-old, yes, honey, daughter Carolina, so badly that she is now bedridden for life. But a judge let him off with probation, a work release program, and counseling in 2023.
Where we gonna eat?
He is now charged with murder his son, Emmanuel, after he and wife Rebecca allegedly tortured the boy to death and then claimed he was kidnapped from a parking lot on August the 14th. See, they have not came out with nothing new. And I do believe this story is not going to go away no time soon. The search for a missing baby, 7-month-old. The child's parents, 32-year-old Jake and 41-year-old Rebecca. And they're just going over the timeline. August the 14th, she made the report. He was last seen wearing a black Nike onesie. August the 15th, the next day, authorities released another statement saying they were continuing their search for the 7-month-old boy. The sheriff department said the baby had not been found, and the investigators will continue to work on this case to locate the child.
The same day, Rebecca and Jake spoke to Los Angeles ABC station about Emmanuel's disappearance. Rebecca described her son as a happy boy and begged whoever had her son to give him back. "Please don't hurt my son," Rebecca said. "Whoever took our son, please bring him back," Jake said. August the 16th. Officials said they interviewed multiple individuals regarding the disappearance, including the child's mother and father. During those interviews, Rebecca was confronted with inconsistencies in her initial statement and declined to continue with the interview. After those interviews, investigators were unable to rule out foul play. August 18th, officials conducted extensive search in Ucapa and Cabonzo, looking for Emmanuel and any evidence that might lead to his location, the sheriff department said in the press. Officials have also served several search warrants at the Harrow's home and are reviewing large amounts of surveillance videos from the area of interest. The area of interest. They say the area of interest. Officials said they are looking into a reported sighting, Kern County, saying no information on where in Kern County was provided. The same day, Jake attorney Vincent Hughes provided a statement saying both parents seek answers about their missing child and that the father is fully cooperating with law enforcement. August the 20th, Jake and Rebecca are seen leaving the Riverside Superior Juvenile Courts while the search for their child continues. August 22nd, Jake and Rebecca were arrested, their home in Cabazon for the murder. Based on the evidence, investigators determined a kidnapping in Ucapa did not occur. It is believed Emmanuel is deceased and the search to recover his remains is ongoing, the sheriff department said in a statement. After parents' arrest, officials said no other arrests have been made and no suspects remain outstanding. With the search for Emmanuel continues, while their arrest marked a significant development, our focus remained on finding Emmanuel. Rebecca was placed in custody at the Robert Presley Detention Center while Jake was booked into the Larry D. Smith Correctional Facility. August the 14th, officials conducted another search for Emmanuel along the westbound shoulder of the 60 freeway near Gilman Springs Road and Morno Valley, with Jake and cadaver dogs accompanying the detectives. The search concluded after Emmanuel was not located. August the 26th, Jake and Rebecca appeared in court on August the 26th in the wake of being charged with murder and making false police report. The two were in court for less than 5 minutes with $1 million bail set for both. Their arraignment is scheduled to continue on September the 4th, which is tomorrow. During a press conference with the Riverside County District Attorney of Law, officials said they have a pretty strong indication on the location of the remains of the 7-month-old and the alleged murder of Emmanuel was preventable. Officials also revealed they believe the child was severely abused over a period of time and that both parents would have been aware of the abuse. Riverside County District Attorney, so he's the Riverside County District Attorney, Michael, said the filing in this case reflects our belief that baby Emmanuel was abused over time and that eventually, because of that abuse, he succumbed to his injuries. Hestron said Jake, who he described as an experienced child abuser, should have gone to prison due to previous abuse another child he had with his ex-wife back in 2018, but a judge at the time granted him probation, a ruling that Hestron called an outrageous error in judgment. Authorities said the child in that case has been left bedridden. If that judge had done his job as he would have done, Emmanuel would be alive today. And they just put that out again. So there's no new anything, you guys. There's no new anything. I want to see what this is saying, but it will not let me see it. It lets me see it for a little bit, and then it just blocks it. See, it just blocked it. Los Angeles time. I'm just not going to pay for that. That was 2 weeks ago on there. Anyway, you guys. So Jake said he did not abuse his daughter, his 7-year-old daughter. So Jake done did an interview and he denies the claims that authorities are saying. See, Jake is almost just like Corey Bigsby. Corey Bigsby wanted everybody to know, I didn't do this. Like, quit lying. So now, I guess there is a lot that's on trial here. Bryant Inton did prosecutors undercharged father of baby Emmanuel. So Brian is the one that says that they had that person let me just see what this is going to give me.
Click to subscribe. In this episode,
yeah, he says he stands on his word that that they put a informant in the jail. He says that. Missing California baby case update. There is no update. Is they turning on each other? No, they're not turning on each other. They got breaking news. They say Heroes remains found. That's a lie. They say 8 hours ago. Breaking news, baby Emmanuel, Heroes remains found. Hold on. Let me see.
Please, I'm begging you. Whoever took my baby, just bring him back. Please don't hurt my son. Those were the desperate words of 7-month-old Emmanuel Harrow's mother, Rebecca, as she stood in front of cameras, tears streaming down her face, pleading for the safe return of her baby boy.
Just give him back to me. Please don't harm my son. Please, I'm begging you. Please, God, please.
She told the world that a stranger had attacked her in a parking lot, knocked her unconscious, and snatched her child. But police would later reveal a horrifying truth. Emmanuel was already dead. And in a shocking twist, his own father, Jake Harrow, allegedly confessed to killing him, then disposing of his tiny body like garbage. This case has gripped Southern California, leaving the community asking the same haunting question: what really happened to baby Emmanuel, and why were his parents standing in front of reporters begging for his safe return if they already knew the truth? Before we dive deeper, I want to pause for just a moment. Cases like this are painful to hear, and sometimes they fade into silence far too quickly. But when we talk about them, when we keep the victims' names alive, we ensure their stories aren't forgotten. So please take a second to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others. And let me know in the comments where you're watching from, because your voice really does matter. Together, we can shine a light on stories that demand answers. On August 14th, what was supposed to be an ordinary afternoon turned into the beginning of a nightmare. Rebecca Harrow told investigators that she had taken baby Emmanuel with her to a Big Five sporting goods store in Southern California. According to her,
there's a picture on here, you guys. There's a picture on here that I just need to go back and get this picture, and tomorrow I'm gonna get this picture. I seen this picture and it's scary. There it is right there.
The family had been at a football practice nearby. One of her older children needed a mouth guard.
Hold on. I keep seeing this picture.
If return, if they already knew the truth. Before we dive deeper, I want to pause for just a moment. Cases like this are painful to hear, and sometimes they fade into...
Yeah, there it is.
And sometimes they fade into silence far too quickly. But when we talk about them, when we keep the victims' names alive, we ensure their stories aren't forgotten. So please take a second to like this.
That's the picture right there. That's the picture. I got the picture, you guys. There's a picture on here that I want to look at this picture. Oh, wow. That's crazy. I'm going to keep this picture and put it up. My goodness. Huh. The baby do look like he's deceased. Wow. Share SP, you have my attention. Oh, you want me to share the picture? Here, let me go get it. Y'all stay right there. Let me go get this picture. I'll be right back. I gotta get this picture. Okay. Let me share this picture with you guys. I'm gonna share this picture with you. Image. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do you guys think that the baby was still alive right there? Here, look so you can see it better. What do you guys think? That's the first time me seeing that picture. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I think something definitely is wrong there. Definitely is wrong. I was on something and they said I guess somebody said something about they found the baby or something, but they didn't find no baby. Talking about they found the baby, the remains. I don't believe that. Yeah, that picture is horrible, you know. Anyway, I'm finna get off of here, go have some dinner or something. You guys, I will catch you guys later. I definitely, the baby has on funeral makeup. He looks dead. Yeah, y'all, I saw that clickbait. I want my view back. You want, he said, I want my view back. Yeah, I seen that. I was like, let me see what done happened here. Cause we always find, yeah, somebody said that the baby remains was found, but no. Then they just start talking about some stuff. No facial expression. Yeah. The eye don't even look. Something went on with that. I don't know. They say the investigators have yet to find the baby's remains, but they believe he was killed a few days before. Let me read it. Oh, I can't even read that. That's too small. I hate when they do it and it's so small I can't even see. Just District Attorney Mike. He did not. Jake said he did not abuse this baby. Your hero walks free. That's clickbait there too. He walked free 3 years ago. That's 59 minutes. Rebecca and Jake arrest. Okay. There's DA blame. So Vinny Palatine investigate. He's on court TV. They saying he confessed. He's like, I ain't confessed to nothing. He letting this woman know I ain't confessing nothing. New details emerge in death 6 months, 6 days ago. No. They still searching. So 22 hours ago, Jake faced repeated probation violation hearings. Okay, so on scene TV says interviews outside the arraignment of Jake and Rebecca. That's 8:26. Emmanuel Hero, father defends wife in jailhouse interview. Jake spoke with the Orange County Register in a jailhouse interview, denying Emmanuel was a lone. I don't know what it says here. That's crazy. Oh, it ain't even popping up. Oh, yeah, it did just pop up. Crap. So all the same stuff is happening, you guys. There's nothing new that's done came in. I'm just letting you go. I'm going to show my daughter and ask her what she think about the picture. Yeah, that's crazy picture. I try to watch as much as I possibly can. Anyway, you guys, let's get off of here, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Thank you guys for showing up. Yeah, it's almost 7 o'clock, so I got to get off of here. All right, you guys.